Welcome to those of you that are watching this video live, and welcome to those of you who will be watching here on demand. We'll be getting started here shortly. You are watching another weekend live edition of Maddie's Rap with author and storyteller Matt D. Talford. We'll be getting started in just a moment. We're going to start with a little bit of music, and then I've got an exciting, it's always exciting, right? I got an exciting program for you guys tonight, okay? So welcome. Come on in. Let me get some music started here. Get some music queued up. Y'all bear with me here. I got a couple things I need to do. And then we're going to get this party started. Thank you for those of you who are watching this video on demand. And thank you for those who are and will be joining live. You're watching Maddie's Rap with author Matt D. Talford. And we're talking about some hot topics tonight. All right. Let me get some music started here. All right. But just a moment. We're going to get this thing started here, right? All right, here we go. Let me see how this sounds, y'all. Let me just switch it up a little bit. I don't like that one. Don't want this. No, I don't. I don't like any of that. Trying to go with this royalty-free music, y'all, just so I keep the YouTube copyright police happy, all right? Let me see. Actually, that might work. Let me see. Let me switch it up. That ain't really your boy either, y'all. Y'all bear with me, man. I want something hot, y'all. I'm going to switch it up. You know what? I'll tell you what. This is what we're going to do. Let's can that. Sound like some Charlie Brown Christmas music there. That ain't what we doing. That ain't what kind of party this. Yo, what's up, Lady Dagger Status? I had to switch back here on y'all. Give me 1 second here. Y'all think if you said I will be listening till I'm done with these empanadas. What kind of empanadas you doing? See, you talking my language now. You talking food. That's my language. What kind of empanadas you got over there? Talk to me. Let me know what you're cooking over there. All right, y'all. We're going to be getting started in just a moment. I need to copy a few videos over to the computer. I would have done this earlier, but that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. Give me just a minute here. Just make sure I'm turned on here. Copy a couple of videos over while people are coming in. And then we're going to get this party started. Set it off on your left, y'all. Set it up. Suggest y'all set it off. All right, let's go with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 little video clips we're going to be doing tonight here. So I'm copying these over. Let me, you know what? I'm going to switch it up, y'all. I'm going to play one of my videos here. Let's see. Let's see. This is what we're going to do. Right here. Let's go Matt D. Talford. Because this is actually the perfect song for what we're going to be talking about here tonight. All right. Just a second, fam. Let's get it queued up. Here we go. I'm going to pause it here. And let me share this while we're getting started. All right, got two in the room. Give y'all bear with me. I'm gonna give y'all a little ground turkey empanadas making enough for tonight, tomorrow. That's how I do it too. That's how I do it. I did some mushroom and onion and vegan cheese lamb burgers. Now y'all don't laugh because I got meat in here, but I mixed it up with some vegan. I try to stay away from dairy. I told y'all that before, but I made a couple of them. I made like 4 of them last night. We beat down 2 of them, and the rest, it's gonna be for history. But I'll tell you how. If y'all remind me, I'll tell you how I saute my mushrooms later, because y'all might like that. So it does require an adult beverage. It does, but I'll tell y'all how I saute my mushrooms in just a minute. Let's get this queued up, and while I'm copying these videos, and then we're gonna get started.
This little song says there's a war going on. Is that right? And it's not a war where your eyes can see it, but it's a spiritual warfare. The scripture said we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and all sorts of spiritual wickedness in high places. Then the Bible said if you want to win, you got to put on the whole armor of God. Is that right? The sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, your feet prepared with the preparation of the gospel of peace. There's a war going on. And if you want to win, put on the whole armor of God. Sister Lynette Hawkins Stevens. Amen. There's a war going on.
What's this doing?
With bullets and guns, cause the enemy you cannot see, you won't fight your tears. There's a war going on, and if you want to win, you better make sure that you have Jesus deep down within. This battle cannot be won with bullets and guns, cause the enemy you cannot see, you will not achieve. Oh, you wrestle, but against the rulers of darkness, against spiritual wickedness, and high places, for he is a fact that Satan's on your track, and suddenly, without any warning, the Lord is attacking. So you better make sure that you know that wherever you may go, that you have a sword, which is the word of God, deep down in your soul. Oh, this is what you have to know. You can't fight this battle.
Y'all come on in, we're almost done.
This is what the Bible says. That we need the armor. Oh, yes, we do. We gotta put on the helmet of salvation. Oh, yes, we do. And we got to fight the breastplate of righteousness. Oh, yes, we do. And we got to the sword of the truth. Oh, yes, we do. And we got to put on the shoes. I said we got to wear the shoes. The preparation of the gospel of peace. I said we got to
All right, family. We're going to get this party started. I'm going to switch networks here so we get no drop. And then we going full throttle. All right, full throttle. Let me check my network status. This may be okay. All right, because y'all know how I do. Y'all know how I do once we get started. I got two in here. Listen, I've held y'all long enough. We're going to get this party started, okay? All right, let me see what we got here. 942, 943. All right, we're good. All right, so let's get it started, y'all. Let's get it started. Thank y'all for being here with me on this Friday night. I know y'all could be any place else in the world, but y'all hanging out with Matt D. Talford. If you are new to my channel, welcome to you. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Now, if you're watching this video on demand, you're watching author and storyteller Matt D. Talford, author of some amazing books for which you can find information by clicking the links in the description box. Now, what are we talking about tonight, family? I held y'all long enough. We are talking about, y'all see the title, y'all see it. Has Israel lost control of the narrative? All right. So I'm gonna be answering that, giving y'all my opinion on it as we get into this tonight's presentation. And then for those of you that are watching, you can make that determination on your own. I got a pretty interesting program lined up. This may trigger some of you guys. I don't know. But listen, that is not the intent. The intent is just to present information with a different perspective. You and your feelings, they sure did. Not sure what that means. Oh yeah, they did. I got you. That's right. They did. They have. All right. They have. I'm agree with you early. I was gonna wait, but I'm agree with you early. I think they have lost control of the narrative, and they're doing everything they can to get it back. But time's up. This stuff is all prophecy. You cannot stop prophecy. When you try to stop it, you speed it up. If y'all haven't seen it, y'all check out that show on Amazon Prime, The Wheel of Time. It talks about what happened when they tried to stop the wheel. Okay, so now what are we talking about? I got some things we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the TikTok ban. All right, first and foremost, because I don't know if y'all have been keeping up. I don't watch a lot of mainstream media at all. I get most of my media through applications like TikTok, and now they're trying to cut it off. All right, so and I think last I heard today, they're waiting for the president to sign it. So it's passed both houses of Congress. It's passed the Senate and the House of Representatives. So it's just waiting on the president to put some ink on it. Now, what that ban is going to look like, I don't know. It's going to be a partial ban. Are they going to completely shut down the app and remove it from these here United States? I don't know, y'all. I don't know, but we're going to go in on that, okay? Now, y'all know Maddie's rap would not be Maddie's rap if I did not start with some opening scripture, okay? So we're going to do that right now. Y'all know how I do. This is prophecy, and I've been saying this for months, actually longer. I've been saying it for over a year. If your pastor, if you still attend any type of Christian, if you want to call it whatever denomination you prefer, if you are still attending Western religion, church / Christianity / Judaism, whatever, and even I don't know enough about Islam, y'all. I try to fall back off Islam because I don't know a lot. I got family members who are in that, are members of that faith. I've got friends that are members of that faith. I don't know a lot about it, so I try not to talk about things that I don't know that much about. But just because you're in Islam or practicing Islam, that does not make you immune to the things that are coming upon the earth, okay? Because these are ancient prophecies that are irrespective of any type of religious denomination, okay? I was talking with my dad earlier today, and I was saying, Dad, can ask anybody what church or what religion Abraham was, and wait for a real answer. And I've had some of my Jewish friends and people, different people in the Jewish community say, well, Abraham was a Jew. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. There was no such thing as Judah. How can the grandfather come from the grandson? All right, let's just start there. So Abraham did not practice Judaism. He didn't practice Islam. What religion was Noah? What religion were Adam and Eve in the garden? All right. What religion was Abel? Cain. Some might say Cain was another one. I don't know. We'll talk about that another day, whatever. But none of them people prior to Jacob, actually, no, not even Jacob, y'all. Let's be real with this. Before I get into these scriptures, we didn't see any type of anity or ism, if you will. And y'all know that the West, I'm gonna put the double air quotes, the West, Europe, European, Europa, whatever you want to call it, they got to put a label on something to be able to understand things that do not need to be, explained or described, or what's that saying, y'all? Things that are understood need not be explained, or something like that. Yo, what's up? Shabbat shalom there, Torah girl. They're nice to see you here. Thank you for joining. What's understood need not be explained. So these things that were understood a long time ago, let's call it what it is, y'all. Let's take the wrapper off. Let's have a real adult conversation. It doesn't mean that you're any type of way. We're just having an adult conversation about things that are, okay? None of that stuff had a label on it until people came down from Europe that didn't understand it, and they needed to classify it. And that's when we started getting these labels thousands of years ago. Okay. The ancients just did what they did. They didn't have no ism or nothing, or no anity or none of that. Now, so anyway, let me get off that soapbox, y'all, because that ain't even what I'm talking about tonight. Opening scripture, I got 3 verses for y'all, and I'm going to tell you exactly why, because they feed into what we're talking about. Let's start with one of my favorites. And if I had a prize to offer, I'd offer a prize to somebody to guess which one I'm coming with first. From the book of Jeremiah, all right? While I'm opening it up, if y'all want to take a stab at it, take a stab at it. Yeah, the prize is going to be a virtual hug. I'll give you a virtual hug. Let's start there. And if you're a bro, I'm going to give you a man hug, all right? So let's start there. Let me get this scripture open. But let me see if anybody guessed it before I jump in on it. All right. Anybody? We got 14 people in. I'm going Jeremiah. I'm going to give you a hint. This is a prophecy scripture. Okay. It's prophecy. So one of y'all, it's a little warm in here. If one of y'all want to jump in there and talk about that or guess what that scripture is, y'all put it in the chat real quick. By the way, y'all, listen, if you haven't done so already, if y'all family, y'all go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like button. Hit that like button because that's going to let people know that we're up in here about to do this thing, okay? So y'all go ahead and hit that like button for me, all right? If y'all are family, if you know and you want to hit it, go ahead and hit it. If you don't want to hit it yet, you probably will by the end of it. So, go ahead and give yourself that hit in advance. Now, let's, all right, nobody typed it in there, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it up on the screen. But I'm sure somebody probably could figure this out. Let's start with some scripture here. What am I doing? I hope y'all had a great Friday. I hope y'all didn't work too hard. We had a saying in the Army, you can work me long, but you can't work me hard. All right. That means you should never work any harder than you want to. All right. And there's some theory out there about even working hard. Like, why are you working hard? I heard another guy break that down in another video. Maybe he made a lot of sense. All right. Maybe I'll talk about that on here one night, but not tonight. All right. Let's go ahead and bring this first one up. 3 scriptures I'm going to hit y'all with. All right. Here's the first one. Y'all already know. Y'all probably, somebody guessed it, probably just didn't want to, were afraid to get it wrong, but this is the one. Jeremiah 16:19. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge. In the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. What else? Vanity. What else? And things wherein there is no profit. Okay. I'm gonna stop there. I normally go to the next 3, the other 2 after that, but I'm gonna stop right there. The next passage of scripture. Anybody want to put in the chat why you think I led off with that one? Y'all put that in the chat, okay? The next one comes from the book of Hebrews. We're gonna go there. Thank y'all for being here again. Thank y'all for being here tonight, man. I love it when y'all show up because that makes it easier for me. The more the merrier, as they say. All right. Next one, Hebrews 4:12. For the word of God, the word of the Most High, the word of the universal I am presence is quick and powerful and sharper than any 2-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. Okay. That's Hebrews 4:12. Y'all write that down if you want to write it down. If you care to, write that down. All right. And last but not least, we're going to the book of John. All right. The book of John, not I, John. For those of y'all that grew up in church, y'all know what that means. All right. Not I, John. We're going to regular John, not I, John. All right. Let's see. John chapter 8, verse 32. All right. Oh, I don't have this one highlighted. I probably should have it highlighted. Let's highlight it. All right. And you shall, and ye, Kanye. No, I'm kidding, y'all. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. All right. That was John 8:32. So one of those was a prophetic Jeremiah 10 chapter. No, ma'am, but nice try. Nice try. Let me get this off the screen. And thank you for joining there, Ma. Thank you for joining. All right. So now, y'all notice those last 2 scriptures. Let me bring them back up really quick, because that's going to set the tone for what we're talking about here tonight. All right. Let's bring that back up. John 8:32. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Let me put that in the chat here. John 8:32. Okay. And then prior to that, Hebrews 4:12. For the word of the Most High, the word of the universal I am presence is quick. The word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any 2-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul, the energy, and spirit, the breath. So that word of the universal I am presence can literally sever the breath from your energy. That's what that means, okay? This is the body, all right? The soul is pretty much you. It's your essence. It's the energy that drives this vehicle that we call a physical body. And the spirit, that's breath. So the word of God is sharper, powerful, quick, powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the energy and the breath, all right? And the joints and the marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. All right, that was Hebrews 4 and 12. Let's pop that in there because I know y'all ready. I know y'all ready. I know y'all are. Here we go. I know y'all ready to get ready. I know y'all ready for me to get ready. Here we go. Well, we about to get ready. And that first one, I don't even need to put that in the chat. Y'all know that. That's on deck. That is, I don't know if y'all heard that knock, but that's knocking on the door. That's better. It's knocking. It's knocking. Jeremiah 16 and 19 is knocking. It's about to be a whole lot of people saying we were lied to. It's bad. In fact, there's a lot of them doing it already. Y'all check out the sister named Deborah over at what is it? Proverbs 31 School of Wisdom. Redirecting is her channel. Y'all check her out. She's been dropping a lot of videos with people. Of course, they're TikTok curations, but getting to that. TikTok curations of people seeing through the lies now, like, wow, we've been lied to all of this time. All right, here we go. I hear my angelic frequencies kicking in, by the way, so I know they're here. Thank y'all for being here. Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, whatever other archangel is present in this session tonight. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all here on command of the Most High, and I appreciate it. Here we go. You gotta know, you know. All right, y'all already know why I did what I did just now. Y'all know. All right, let me take this off. Now, so why did I start those scriptures referencing truth? The TikTok ban, y'all. Let's start there. The TikTok ban is all about the suppression of truth. All right? The suppression of truth. What did I say last year, y'all? What did I say? Y'all heard me say this quite a bit. I said the low frequency beings are afraid for you to use your voice. So they try to make you afraid to use your voice. The word is true. That scripture said the word of God is sharper than any two-edged sword. You could flip that. You could swap out God and put in truth. Y'all know that another moniker that I use for the Most High is the Spirit of Truth. Y'all hear me say the Most High. Y'all hear me say the universal I am presence. Y'all also like to hear me say the Spirit of Truth, the Spirit of Righteousness. We're going to deal with God being the Spirit of Truth tonight. So the TikTok ban, in my opinion, Matthew's opinion, this is not the opinion of anybody else I talk to, whatever. This is my opinion. The low vibrational entities that have been running this planet for the longest time, they are afraid of that. What did it say? It said the word of truth is quick, powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword. This is why there's such a suppression of truth. Okay? So the TikTok ban, it's all about the suppression of truth. Now, they are afraid for you to use your voice, so they try to make you afraid to use your voice. And when they can't make you afraid, what do? They attempt to take away your ability platform to use it. That's what they do, okay? Henceforth, the heavy censorship that you see on American-owned social media networks, all right? Which includes the ban to limit TikTok. Okay, the ban on TikTok. Now, I want to play something for y'all here. Give me just a minute. We're starting. This is going to be the first video of the night. I'm going to bring this up for you guys, and let me do this. I'm going to pause this. Let's copy that. I'm going to close that. Bring it up over here. And boom, let's drop it in. Actually, you know what? Let me use this tab right here. Why not? I'm not using that anymore. All right, so let's share. Let's share the screen now. All right, first video of the night, family. I got about 10 or 11 of them to show you guys. So this is the first one of the night. Here we go. Let's make sure y'all okay. StreamYard is sharing a window. Let's make sure y'all can see that. Yes, you can. All right, here we go.
Palestinian voices not being on American television or in American print is one of the biggest problems when it comes to our coverage of this conflict. When we talk about why the media is structurally biased towards one party in this conflict, the more powerful party, the occupier, we have to remember that this is one of the reasons. Why are Palestinians dehumanized in our media? This is one of the reasons. If we don't let people speak, that's what leads to dehumanization. We understand it at home when it comes to, for example, Black voices. In recent years, media organizations have tried to take steps to improve diversity on air. When it comes to on-air talent, when it comes to on-air guests, when it comes to balancing panels, we get that we need underrepresented communities to be able to speak. But when it comes to foreign conflicts, we still don't seem to have made that calculation. We deny these people a voice. And then we wonder why people don't sympathize with their plight or aren't marching in the streets. Well, they are marching in the streets, but in bigger numbers. Why America is okay and kind of, blind to the fact that we are complicit in the genocide of these people, because we don't hear from these people. Palestinian voices not being on American television or in American print is one of the...
All right, that was from Democracy Now! Shout out to Democracy Now! And thank you for providing that information for us. I'm using all of the videos tonight. You all are being shown under fair use for the purpose of critical review and commentary on the subject matter. That is it. That's it. We don't take ownership of it. We don't claim ownership of it. Okay, she said, love this guy. They fired him from MSNBC. Of course they did. Of course they did. You can't go off script in mainstream media and keep your job. That's how that works. So shout out to him. Shout out to him. All right, so let me stop the screen there. And so now I wanted to show you guys that there's so much going on. There's so much going on. They are trying to suppress the truth. Now, tell me this. If you look at the universal I am presence, if you will, or if you look at God, if you will, as also being the spirit of truth, then if they are attempting to suppress truth, who are they actually trying to suppress? That math is real simple, y'all. This is why people are saying spiritual warfare, but you need to understand what it looks like, okay? When you take the term truth and you make it about the Most High, the universal I am presence, the spirit of righteousness, what some people call God, you see what's going on. It is spiritual warfare. You have forces that are at play, and they're the same forces that have been at play for thousands of years, okay? Who are they making war with? Not us. We're just the pawns in the game, y'all. The attempt to suppress truth is the attempt to make war with the Most High God. Why? Because the word of God is sharper than a two-edged sword. So you're talking about a sword. If you're talking about tarot, those who understand tarot, the swords are all about thoughts and words, okay? Communication. So that communication cuts. What does the scripture also say? I'm not going to bring it up on the screen, but it says the power of life and death is in the tongue. What does that mean? That means you can speak life over your own body. You can speak death, if you don't know what you're doing, over your own body, okay? A king can speak a word and have someone executed. A king can speak a word and have someone who was locked up freed. A king can speak a word and send his country into war against another country. A king can speak a word and form an alliance with another country. That is the power of words. So when you're talking about truth, I've said this for a long time, y'all. Truth, every living being has what I like to call an internal truth receptor. So when the truth hits your ears, it registers. You know it's the truth. People talk themselves out of it a lot of times. When the truth hits you or you're presented with the truth, you either accept it or you reject it, but it doesn't make it stop being the truth. All right. So this attempt to ban TikTok is an attempt to ban truth. Why? Because TikTok and other platforms like it are the only places where you can go. And I'm not necessarily demonizing the whole of the mainstream media. Let's play this balance game. Let's stay balanced. If the mainstream media is presenting a narrative that does not seem to make sense, y'all know I always talk about using the eye test. What do your eyes tell you? Close your ears and just observe. This is why people who spend a lot of time in nature are so highly intuitive. It's because they've learned how to and just observe. What do your eyes see? What do your eyes tell you? This is why they had this. You know what? I'm not going to get into the shape of the earth argument, but notice if the shape of the earth is just one way or whatever, and listen, you can believe what you want to believe. However, if someone is presenting an alternative narrative and someone says, no, that narrative doesn't need to be presented, why? Why does it not need to be presented? You're okay presenting your alternative narrative. Pay attention to the word alternative. Lifestyles. Okay. You're okay pushing an alternative narrative that has to deal with lifestyle. It's okay for you to push an alternative narrative. But when someone else challenges their narrative that the mainstream media is pushing, and it has an element of truth in it, it is largely comprised of truth. It is truth. Well, we can't have that out there. We can't have people knowing what's going on. Y'all gonna see a little bit more truth, because what did I tell y'all in 2023? I said 2024 is going to be a year of things being exposed, of things being brought out of the darkness into the light. Okay. So now, even if the president does sign that TikTok ban into law, let me say this, y'all. It will not stop the truth. It will not. Cannot, will not. We're in a year of revelation. So the banning of the TikTok platform will only open the floodgates of truth. Why y'all trying to make war with the spirit of truth and righteousness? It's because, as the Messiah said to the Pharisees, you are of your father, the devil. Remember what I said, y'all. There are some beings walking this planet that cannot get above a certain layer in that emotional frequency chart. They just simply cannot be high vibrational. So it is in them to fight against truth because they do not understand it. What did the scripture say? The light shined or something like that, and the darkness darkness understood it not. Darkness cannot understand light. So what it tries to do is it tries to turn it off. The truth is light. Okay. So you can't stop it. You can't stop it. We're in the season for that which is hidden to be revealed. Let me keep moving. All right. So we're gonna do some more of this TikTok, man. This next one, shout out to the Young Turks. They put some good content out there. I used to watch them a lot heavy years ago. I pulled back from watching them when I got away from politics, but I went back to the Young Turks when I wanted to get a little bit more information on this, on these Columbia University and some of these other universities around the country and such. So I happened to run across this one where they were talking about more on the TikTok ban. So let me bring this up. Thank y'all for being here tonight. All right, let's see. I did not have time to label these, so give me just 1 minute. I got to click through and see if I can't remember the thumbnail. There we go. Okay. No, that's not the one. This is the one I want right here. Oh, let's see. The Young Turks video. Yeah, this is the one. All right, here we go. Let me share. Let me move it over here. The Young Turks. Here we go. Oh, hey, you and your feelings, yo. I didn't even recall that because I kind of disconnected. That was around the time. You and your feelings, for those of you who are watching or driving and you aren't reading the comments, and I don't want you to read the comments if you're driving. We had a comment that came in that said, "I stopped watching them when they pushed the jab." I disconnected I disconnected from a lot. That was when I started really disconnecting from mainstream media. So I didn't know that. But thank you for sharing that. Yeah, but this is good. This is good information. This is good information. So let me share this. All right, here we go.
Guess who one of the people trying to ban TikTok is? Facebook. Wow, how surprising. Is it really a national security issue? Maybe that's a small part of some people's consideration, but the number one consideration is how much people are going to make money off of either shutting down TikTok or more likely having it be sold to a private equity company here in America. They want to force ByteDance to sell it, and that artificially devalues the price of TikTok. The minute an American private equity company buys it, gets about a 25% boost likely, and then they make a killing off of it. So now, and Facebook doesn't want competitors, so Facebook just spent $7.6 million lobbying in just 3 months of this year. And part of that is to kill off their competitor, TikTok. And that's how bribery works in America. It's legalized bribery, campaign contributions. We'll explain it all tonight on the Young Turks on YouTube at 6 o'clock Eastern. See you there.
The plot thickens. The plot thickens. 7.6 million in 3 months to lobby for the deletion of your competition. And y'all know you can't say anything on Facebook. Y'all already know that. Y'all, Facebook is like one of the most censored platforms in the history of social media. I mean, they are social. What was social media before before Facebook. You had what was that thing called, y'all? MySpace. There was nothing. So I think, me personally, I think Facebook is probably the most restrictive platform. And since they bought out Instagram ain't far behind. It's not as bad as Facebook, but nothing is like TikTok is the wild, wild west. And there's a lot of voices on there saying a lot of things. And as I continue to play these videos tonight, you're going to see why they want TikTok gone. This is why I told y'all a few lives back. I said, listen, if you come across some content on TikTok and you love it and you jive with it, and you click that share button, and save is an option. Save that bad boy. Save it and archive it. Okay. Let's look at the comment here. So you can get good info from everyone. It's about chewing the meat and spitting out the bones. Amen to that. Amen to that, you and your feelings. Amen to that. All right. So now let's talk about let's talk a little bit of numerology, y'all, because again, y'all know that I made some predictions in 2023. I told at the end of 2023, I told y'all a lot of the predictions I made were based on the understanding of numerology and how planetary and cosmic energy works. Okay, which is pretty much the mechanisms of the Most High, the ordinances spoken of in Jeremiah the 31st chapter. Okay, these ordinances that govern over a lot of stuff here that goes on earth. So those are forces that cannot be stopped. I don't even know why they even try. Why try to work? That's like swimming against the current. Swim with the current, okay, and see where every current in the sea is going to take you somewhere. All right, the rivers on land, the freshwater rivers on land, run to the ocean, and the currents in the ocean run to the sea. Okay, so it's everything. If you just ride with it, it's going to take you where you need to go. Okay, here we go. So now let's talk about numerology, because if you look at the progression of 2023 to 2025, you see that 2023 was what? It was a 7-year. Okay, 7-year was Libra energy. What is Libra energy about? It's about bringing things back into balance. So we saw last year that things started coming into balance. We started seeing things that had to deal with Libra's the sign of justice. We started seeing things that had to deal with justice and justice being served. Okay, now we're in an 8th year, which is Scorpio energy, scorpionic energy. We know what scorpionic energy is about. Scorpionic energy is about revelation of truth. Okay, Scorpio is the investigator of the zodiac. They go into the darkness and tell you what's in there. That's Scorpio energy. Okay. The other energy that has to deal with this is more now, that's more on the astrological side, or the astrological energy of the 7 and 8, but there's a numerology energy of it too. And that is 8 is a number of karma. It's a number of abundance, but it's also a number of karma, meaning this is the time that you get paid back what you put out. Okay. So one of the things I mentioned in 2023 is that a lot more revelations were going to be brought forth. We're going to learn things about people, places, and situations that were previously hidden. Okay. And there's some scripture that has to deal with that. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But it's all, again, it's a year of karma. It's called the Saturnian year. Saturn, for those of y'all that understand understand a little bit about astrology, Saturn is the energy that is the debt payer. Okay, it pays. It is the ruler of karma. Karma is what? Karma is simply the universal force that pays you what you're owed. Okay, good or bad. So that's the energy of 2024. We're in the thick of it right now. Okay, and I won't even talk about the North Node. I'm gonna get to that. Okay, what's coming? This is a super early preview of 2025, because I know tomorrow ain't promised, but let's just talk about it, right? Okay, when your time's up, it's up. If it ain't up, it ain't up. So it's okay to talk about it now. 2025. If this is an 8-year, then 2025 is a 9-year. The 9-year is about Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius is the sign of wisdom. It's the sign of philosophy. It's the sign of higher knowledge, among other things. It's a sign of travel. Now, what you can also do is you can take the number that corresponds to the house that is ruled by whatever sign the North Node is in, and add that to the energy of the year. So if you take, this is an Aries North Node. If you take the 1, Aries rules over the first house. If you take the 1 from the Aries North Node energy and add that to the 8 of the Scorpio energy, you come back with that 9. So we're getting a preview of that Sagittarius energy. What is Sagittarius? It's also the sign of travel. It's a sign of foreign relations, foreign interaction. We're seeing a lot of that now. So you take that and you put that with that Aries North Node. It's a lot of stuff happening, y'all. It's a lot of stuff happening. The North Node really is what colors the energy of all of these signs, whatever constellation you're in, whatever season you're in. The North Node colors that. So we just left Aries season, right? We had a lot of hot stuff popping off in Aries season. What happened in Aries? We had that solar eclipse on the 8th, and then right after that, we had this attack where Israel bombed the consulate, the Iranian consulate in Syria, and then Iran came back and said, boop, 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 boop. Let me hit your military targets and show you I can hit them when I want. You want to do that again? So that was a little bit. Now, some people are saying that was a whole show of force thing. Ain't nothing popping off after that. I don't know. I really don't care. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't mean for that to sound harsh, but I do respect the way that if you're going to do that thing, you're going to play that game. The Iranians did not hit any. I talked about this before. They did not hit any civilian targets. So what they did in doing that is they presented themselves as a higher moral authority over the state that's supposed to be God's chosen people and the arbiters of righteousness. All right, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So anyway, with this 9-year energy coming up, that Sagittarius energy, we're going to see more of the things that, so let me give you the progression. You had the justice energy of 2023 leading to the investigation and revelation energy of 2024. And now that's going to lead into the other sign of the other aspect of Sagittarius energy. It is the sign of the teacher. So you're going to see a lot of things being taught next year. Okay. A lot of things being taught, a lot of things. It's going to carry over that revelation. And now people are going to be teaching and speaking on and maybe doing some foreign interaction on the things that were learned, that were discovered, that were revealed here in 2024. It's going to happen, y'all. But on top of that, because the North Node is going to leave Aries and move into Pisces next year, then Pisces energy is going to color that. What is Pisces? Pisces is the sign that is ruled by the planet Neptune. Neptunian energy is about things that are like hidden, things that are the other energy of Pisces. Pisces is the rule of the 12th house. The 12th house is the bridge, the connection between heaven and earth, if you will. It's the connection between the spirit realm and the physical realm. So Pisces bridges the gap between the physical and the spiritual. We're going to see a whole lot of gap bridging and things that were once considered ethereal and just hypothesis of. There's a lot of people that don't believe certain things with regards to scripture. I hear it all the time. They think that the Bible is just a made up book. It's a book of principles that are good to follow, but they're allegorical and, none of that stuff really happened. It was about teaching. A lot of that stuff, we're going to see it because it's going to be bridged in 2025. So let me get off of that. But the other thing too is if you take that Pisces rules over the 12th house and you add that to the 9 and 12 is 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. So that is the energy of the third house. That's about communication and learning. So guess what? People are going to be talking about what happened in 2024 a lot in 2025. You watch. And we ain't even seen the half of what's going to happen here in 2024 yet. But that's just a little preview there. So I wanted to talk about that. You cannot stop these things once they're set in motion. And this is in perpetual motion. So when something is in its season, it's in its season, period. There are things that grow in the spring. There are things that grow in the fall. There are things that grow in summer, and believe it or not, there are things that grow in winter, okay? When things are in their season, they're in their season, and you cannot stop. You might be able to go out there and dig up a plant here, there, whatever, but worldwide, when something's supposed to come forth in a season, it's going to come forth, especially if it is the absolute divine will. I ain't talking about the permissive. I'm talking about the perfect will, all right? So let's move on. Now, if you look at the progression of the North Node, now this is interesting. Y'all going to learn a lot. Y'all going to see a lot about historical parallels where they say nothing's new under the sun and what was is going to be again, okay? And what is now has already been. That's from the book of Ecclesiastes. Y'all going to see that coming forth because I got a powerful North Node example coming later. But let's look at the progression of the North Node, all right? We'll be leaving Aries in January and entering into an 18-month period of a North Node in Pisces. So that's a whole year and a half of spiritual energy hitting the planet, okay? Pisces energy is psychic and spiritual, possessing the ability to easily see things that are hidden, okay? And that's all the water signs, but Pisces is the psychic one. It's the clairvoyant one. It's the one that Pisces can literally pick up on people's thoughts. I've talked to a number of Pisces who have told me that they've dealt with people and people be like, how'd you know I was thinking that? And they don't even know how they know. That's the energy of Pisces when you're high vibrational, okay? When you're low vibrational, you're probably mistrusting or you're getting scrambled messages, but it's probably because your intent is wrong. But when you're high vibrational, that information comes to you and through you. So Pisces is the rule of the 12th house. Is also about bridging the spirit world with the physical world. We talked about that. Now let's read a passage of scripture here, because I have two passages of scripture here that deal with what is happening here in 2024. This is a 2024 update too, because I told y'all some things that were going to be happening. The thing that we have not seen yet, but we're seeing the seeds of it have been planted. What did I say? Anything that here in 2024, this 8-year energy, anything that was gotten via ill-gotten means, you lied to get it, you stole, you did some conniving to get it, you're not going to be able to hold on to it. You're not going to be able to hold on to it. And so that is what we see happening right now in the Middle East. All right. I'm going to get to that. I told y'all this video tonight might trigger some people, but just ride with me, because that's not the intent. I'm just here presenting the information. What you do with it is what you do with it. All right. So let's read again. We're going to the chapter. We're going to Luke now. We're going to the book of Luke. I'm your father, Luke. Speaking of using the force, right? Let's go. Luke, the 8th chapter. All right, let me bring this up on the screen, y'all. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Thank y'all so much. All right, Luke, we're going to chapter 8, verse 17. Let's get there. I know y'all heard this one before. I'm going to read it. Luke 8 and 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. That's scripture. Do we not see that happening right now? And it's funny, y'all. This is why you got to look to different sources of what is going on when you want to be informed. Why? Because the mainstream media has a program. All of the networks show you the same stuff all the time. All right. Let me pull up something real quick, y'all. Let me pull up something, because this was one that they banned off of this platform. I ain't gonna say it out loud, but let's see if it's still out there. Oh, okay. All right. Let me show y'all something. Y'all write this down. I'm gonna put it in the comments. I'm gonna put it in the chat. All right. And for those of y'all that are on the road, I know I got people that drive that listen to me, truckers and such. I'm gonna go ahead and say it once I drop it in the chat. All right. There's 2 of them here. Okay. All right. Okay. Please support our sequel. Okay. So let me give y'all this right here. This movie was originally called Out of Shadows. I first saw it in 2020 when the proverbial ish hit the fan. Okay. I watched it. Actually, it was available for a short time via this platform we're streaming from right now, and then they removed it. But thank God they made it available on their website. So if you want to see Out of Shadows, it tells you how this stuff works with the mainstream media. It's right there. I just put it in the link. Looks like they have a new movie called Into the Light. The previous one, the former that I mentioned, is available for free. I'm thinking this new one, you got to make a donation to see it. I'm going to watch it anyway, because the first documentary, and these are documentary films, the first one was so good. Why not pay for the second one? We got to support our independent artists, y'all, because they don't get the love from the mainstream. So we got to support our independent artists, especially when they're going through painstaking effort to bring information to you that you cannot get from these mainstream platforms. Okay. So next scripture we're going to, let me, you know what? Let me just show y'all what that website looks like really quick, for those of you that want to see it, so you'll know you're in the right place. Let me stop screen for just a moment. That's it right there. Okay. I'm gonna leave it there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's gone. All right, just wanted y'all to see that so you'll know when you get there, you're in the right place. So now let's go back to the scripture. All right, that was Luke 8 and 17. Now we're going to go to Luke 12 and 1 through 2. Y'all make sure y'all write these down if you want to use them for later reference. Here we go. Let's you know what? Let's do it like this. Same theme here, y'all. Same theme. Okay, Luke 12 and 1 through 2. In the meantime, when they were gathered together, an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode one upon the other, meaning they were stepping all over each other, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware you of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Okay. Let's go back to that first verse where he says, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. What is leaven, y'all? Y'all the cook. Y'all know what leaven is. Y'all know what it is. Leaven is like what makes dough rise. Okay. So something that puffs up. The thing that puffs up the Pharisees and gives them their substance is hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. Okay. Let me cross-reference that really quick, because that lends itself to the passage of scripture that says having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. Let me bring that up real quick. You know what? Let me go to my handy dandy logos. All right, logos, open up for me here. What is this? That's not what I wrote. Okay, hold up. This is not my flavor here. All right, this is not what I am looking for. Huh. I know I had this thing on King James. I don't know where it switched. And I ain't got time to do that. I don't have time to deal with that. Wait, close this Bible. Close this. No, change resource. There we go. KJV. All right. All right. So let's go to Romans. You know what? I don't have time. I don't have time to play with this one. I messed something up in the settings on that one. I'm gonna have to come back to it. Let's see. That is. Y'all, I'm drawing a blank here. Give me a sec. Okay, 2 Timothy 3 and 5 through 7. Let me get this cross-reference because the Logos Bible on my tablet here works. Let's see. Y'all, please bear with me. Thank you for your patience. That is 2 Timothy 3 and 5. Okay. Romans, there we go. Romans, there we go. That's what I want. Romans, let's go there. All right, let's get y'all back up on the screen here. No, that's not it. 2 and 20. Whoops. Too many twos. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. All right. An instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in law. We're talking about these Pharisees with their leaven, which is hypocrisy. Okay. Verse 21. Thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that preachest a man should not steal, dost thou steal? Thou that sayest a man should not commit adultery, dost thou commit adultery? Thou that abhorrest idols, dost thou commit sacrilege? Thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonorest thou God? So he's like, y'all make y'all boast the law, but y'all break it all the time. So when he's saying, beware the leaven of the Pharisees, what he's saying is, y'all watch out for them because they're hypocrites. Their leaven is hypocrisy. We see a lot of hypocrisy in the world right now, right? Let me get back onto my notes here. Let me get back on. So that was Luke 12 and 1 through 2. Hopefully y'all wrote that down. That was Luke 12 and 1 through 2. 12 and 1 through 2. Okay, verse 2 again. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Interesting that comes right on the heels of him talking about their hypocrisy. So you're a hypocrite now, but whatever is hidden is going to come to light. It has to. So just as sure as the sun moves around, night leaves and makes way to day, whatever's hidden and done in darkness is going to be brought to the light. It's happening here in this 8 year. Now, let's move on to these Palestine campus protests, all right? These Palestine campus protests. We're talking about getting different sources of information, y'all, because the mainstream media gives you one side of it. Y'all go watch that link I got down there, Into the Light movie. Y'all go to that link when you get a chance and watch that Out of Shadows, all right? And then see what's up with the other one. I haven't watched the other one yet, so I can't tell you about it, but I can tell you about the former. Dope documentary. Now, you got to look for these other sources. And again, this is why they're trying to suppress truth and why they're trying to smash TikTok. And it's looking like it's going to get smashed, but you can't stop the truth. Let's bring this next video up. How y'all feeling out there, man? Y'all quiet tonight, man. What's going on with y'all? Y'all quiet tonight. Y'all a little bit more popping in this. What's happening, y'all? Y'all had a long week of work. What's happening, family? Y'all talk to me. Talk to your boy, family. What's going on with y'all today? All right. Y'all a little quiet tonight, man. I'm used to y'all being a little bit more vocal. Here we go. All right, let's share this. It's another one again. Shout out to the Young Turks. This came from their TikTok channel while they got one, right? Here we go.
So Colombia is now suspending students that are in the peace protest movement. And now Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, is saying they're going to start arresting people who are in favor of Palestinians doing these protests. The BS excuse is they're all anti-Semites. Okay, and that they're being hateful. All right, well, is it hateful to say that killing 34,000 Palestinians, 25,000 women and children, all innocent, are not enough? Starving 1 million Palestinians to death is not enough. They're not dead yet, but they're working on it. But that's not hateful. Everything that Israel does when they celebrate and they say it's not enough, kill more Palestinians, kill more Palestinians, that's not hateful. That will get no attention, no nothing. But if the donors want people suspended, Colombia immediately will suspend them. If Congress members are going to work to get those deans fired, they're going to make sure that only the Israeli side is presented on campus. And now the mayor is weighing in to cheat as well.
Sounds like double talk to me. Sounds like double talk to me. All right. And for those of y'all that haven't seen, and I'm going to show a couple of videos here coming up, but those from what I've seen outside of the mainstream media, those protests have been very peaceful. And the thing that they are protesting and basically doing those setting up those tents and camping out on the campus grounds, the reason they're doing it is because their whole thing is we should not be sending money to a country that is indiscriminately bombing innocent civilians in the name of looking for militants. Okay. I'm gonna get into in a little bit showing you the parallels between what they're doing and what happened 80 years ago in Europe. Okay. Hey, what's up, Hotshot? Glad you could join. You know, your feeling said the only Semites are the Khazars, I guess. What a joke. You know, I got a whole thing with that Semite versus Shemite anyway. And I always question, why was that H dropped? Why was that H dropped? I mean, nothing is done. Everything that is done is done for a reason. It's not accidental. Nobody accidentally left the H out. Why was that H dropped? Because Noah's son was named Shem, not Sem, right? Just curious. And I mean, wasn't semi. Were they playing on words in Coming to America? Wasn't that Eddie Murphy's character name? Was it? No, it wasn't. Semi was Arsenio Hall, I think. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting when I was looking at it. I was like, Semi, is that short for Semite? Like, I'll be looking at stuff like that, y'all. Just me. All right. Tora said they were showing that they are planning people to disrupt the students. Infiltration going on as a means to shut the students. Of course, there's always that. It's always that. We saw that same thing, and we saw that same theme in the what is it? St. Louis protests some years ago with the George Floyd thing or whatever. We saw the same thing. Okay. Shemites. Yo, you funny. Oh man, y'all are funny, man. All right, so let me now. Here's what I think is interesting. What I think is interesting, and I heard the Young Turks. I watched them on their video, and they talked about some of this too. They did. I don't want to pull up their YouTube video because I don't know how they feel about people sharing their YouTube videos on this platform. So I don't know, but I just decided not to do it. I did watch it earlier, and one of the things I found interesting from a couple different. It wasn't just them, but it was other people too. They were like, "It's if you listen to how cocky Bibi Netanyahu is, I mean, he talks ish to the American government like they report to him." And I'm like, I'm looking at this like, yeah, I know I was a military man. I'm like, all right, he ain't the commander in chief. Like, this dude got that much juice. And anyway, I'm gonna keep it moving. But he talking like he got juice, y'all. He talking like he got juice. Sustainable Farming said, interesting, Biden might sign the bill to ban TikTok right after he just made it easier for the NSA to spy on us. Exactly. Yeah, this whole thing is coming to an end. It's folding up quicker than, as my girl Anya says, Reynolds wrap. Okay, it's a Reynolds wrap for this place. Let me give y'all. We talking about BB now. Let's move on down. Let me show y'all BB. Here, because BB he a cocky mofo, man. I'm like, really? Word? It's like that. You ruling America from over in Jerusalem, but y'all know. I've said this years ago. Jerusalem is America East, and parts of America is real West. Let's just call it what it is. All right. Let me see if this is the one. All right, y'all. I had the wrong one up there. Let me bring this up real quick here. Where is it? I thought I had it over here. I might have to copy it over. Hang on a sec. Is this the one? VS6G? Yeah, that's the one. All right, so let me bring up a different one here. Hang on a sec, fam. Y'all give me uno segundo. Sorry about that. I had it on mute. I think I got it here on YouTube. Let me see. Let me check my open tabs here. Let's find it, Matthew. Come on. This one I thought I had.
Oh, nothing works on this acne.
Hi.
Who?
I'm a licensed dermatology provider from Curology. Answer a few questions.
What began last week.
Okay, let's just use this short video and then I'm going to show y'all something else here. Hang on. All right, let's share this. She said, so true. Okay, Sustainable Farming said, I remember when he came here and met with our Congress or Senate behind Obama's back. Yeah, like, yo, this is my country. I'll tell y'all, yeah, wait till y'all hit. Wait till I spill a tea on him. Hang on, y'all. Wait till I spill a tea on him. So true. He seems prideful, but he's just a pawn. He's getting his instructions and then they will throw him in the trash. Yo, something happened. Something dropped about who he's getting his instructions from. This plot is getting thicker and thicker, y'all, this year. I'm telling y'all, I found some interesting videos for y'all today. Hang on. Here we go.
Because a college protest against Israel's war with Hamas has now developed into a larger movement spreading to campuses across the U.S. Clashes with police have led to arrests.
Concerns over student safety have forced some schools to move classes online for the rest of the semester. Protests are now focusing on colleges' financial ties to companies connected to Israel.
It's unconscionable. It has to be stopped. It has to be condemned and condemned unequivocally.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the protests horrific. He blames college officials for letting them spiral out of control. House Speaker Mike Johnson visited Columbia's campus.
All right, this ain't the one, y'all. Let me find it. Let me find the one. Maybe, hang on a sec. Let's try this one right here.
Pro-Palestine protests have been spreading like wildfire across the US,
Okay,
even the threat of a global conflagration.
We see this exponential rise of anti-Semitism throughout America and throughout Western societies as Israel tries to defend.
Yo, shout out to Novara Media. This is their video. Thank you for providing this information for us so that we can talk about it and pontificate about it and, you know, opine over it. All right, here we go. Thank you again to Novara Media.
Defend itself against genocidal terrorists who hide behind civilians. Yet it is Israel that is falsely accused of genocide. Israel that is falsely accused of starvation and all sundry war crimes. It's all one big libel. But that's not new. We've seen in history that anti-Semitic attacks were always preceded by vilification and slander. Lies that were cast against the Jewish people that are unbelievable, yet people believed them. And what is important now is for all of us who are interested and cherish our values and our civilization, to stand up together and to say enough is enough. We have to stop anti-Semitism because anti-Semitism is the canary in the coal mine. It always precedes larger conflagrations that engulf the entire world. So I ask all of you, Jews and non-Jews alike, who are concerned with our common future and our common values, to do one thing: stand up, speak up, be counted. Stop anti-Semitism now.
Netanyahu is right about one thing. Anti-Semitism is a scourge that should never be tolerated. But in conflating the political project of Zionism with the Jewish ethnicity and conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, Netanyahu contributes to the problem.
Okay. All right. So let me stop sharing that, because I don't know if y'all have heard what is happening, but the other thing that is going on in Congress is they're trying to pass some sort of bill into law that makes that puts anti-Zionism into the same bucket as anti-Semitism. So basically, if you don't agree with a Zionist agenda and you speak about it, then you're being an anti-Semite. And there are Jewish people, there are Orthodox Jewish people living in Israel who will tell you, I'm not a Zionist. And they'll tell you, like, we really don't, we shouldn't be here. There are people in New York that say the same thing. The Jewish people aren't supposed to be, blah, blah, blah. I'll play some of those videos for y'all. I thought that was very interesting. So let me show you what a TikToker had to say about that. All right. Let me show you this TikToker had to say about Bibi's speech, if you will, on how we need to be managing our college campuses over here. All right, let's bring this up. Y'all are gonna enjoy this one. Let's bring this up. I love these response videos, y'all, by the way. I love them. Here we go.
What's happening on America's college campuses is horrific.
Here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
Benjamin Netanyahu is the last person on earth who should be talking about what's happening on college campuses. Netanyahu is responsible for the deaths of dozens of academics and the destruction of every single university in his genocidal campaign in Gaza. According to a statement released by Euromed Human Rights Monitor in January, the Israeli army killed 94 university professors, along with hundreds of teachers and thousands of students. They say Israel systematically destroyed every university in the Gaza Strip. Some universities, like Al-Asrat University in southern Gaza, was totally destroyed after initially being used as a military barracks and later as a detention facility. So yeah, Netanyahu needs to
shut the fuck up.
I thought that was funny. Dave Chappelle, you gotta love him. You gotta love him. Oh man, Dave. I like how she cut that in. That was very cool. So, yeah. So now let's look at this Columbia University There's a couple of Columbia University videos I wanted to show here, and then I've got something pretty interesting that you guys are probably gonna want to hear. Okay, it's a piece that I wrote. Do I have that in my notes here? Come on, Matt. Tell me I did not leave that out. Okay, that's all right. I know where to plug it in. So I do have it. Here it is. All right, so let me do this. Got another video to show you guys. Now, this one has to deal with what I was just saying with regards to the is that the one? No. Let's not do that one. Let's go Columbia University. All right, here we go. Here's one. Is that the same one? It is. All right, so I missed that one. And I know I have it on here. Let's just go with what I got. Let's go with what I got here. All right. Let us move this here.
I think in the current moment, the concept of anti-Semitism is getting used as a bludgeon. None of the pro-Palestine rallies, protests, movements have ever been anti-Semitic, and I think any accusation that they are is just trying to sort of pave the ground to continue this genocide.
The word anti-Semitic is very broad. I think some of them are very confused. I think some of them are well-intended. They want peace. Everybody wants peace. But in World War II, in the concentration camps, there were groups called the Sonderkommando. And they were Jews who sided or helped and were complicit with the Nazis for a little extra bread, some freedom. They just lost their way. And I equate them to the Sonderkommando.
Yeah. All right. So let me close that window. And I am going to now cut over. So the question I have before I read this next article, and this is one I wrote up a couple of years ago. Let me read a comment really quick. Muddying up the water. That's the theme and create confusion. At times it feels frustrating, but high positive frequency keeps me centered. The assurance that the Most High is in charge. Absolutely. So I'm going to read for you guys a piece that I wrote about 2 years ago, actually. And it has to deal with this whole thing here. Let me see. That's not the one I want. This is, hang on a second. Here we go. This is the one I was looking for before. Let me play this for you guys.
Protests at Columbia. Clashes between police and pro-Palestinian demonstrators are intensifying. Protests at Columbia University in New York are now in their 8th day.
CBS News.
And today, the Speaker of the House was on campus calling on the school's president to restore order. CBS's Nancy Chen has more on the growing nationwide tensions.
Let him go! This was the scene at the University of Southern California after school security tried to stop students from setting up a protest encampment. Hundreds of demonstrators surrounded a patrol car after campus police detained one student who was later released.
Free, free, free Palestine!
At the University of Texas, Austin, police in riot gear and officers on horseback confronted about 200 students participating in a pro-Palestinian rally. More than 20 were arrested. On the East Coast, demonstrators set up an encampment on Harvard Yard in solidarity with student protesters at Columbia University. where House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke late today and was met with both cheers and boos.
I am here today joining my colleagues and calling on President Shafiq to resign if she cannot immediately bring order to this chaos.
I'm just standing on the sidewalk. This is day 8 of the protests at Columbia University. The school said it is making important progress with protesters, but has given students a deadline to dismantle their tents. The protesters say they will not leave until the school agrees to cut its business ties to Israel.
We need the administrators of these universities to get control of the situation. And if they can't, then we need the National Guard, law enforcement, or someone to come in here and take control.
Are you calling for the National Guard to come here?
Desperate times call.
Now, mother, pardon my broken French, okay? I'm gonna use broken French tonight. I'm not gonna use full French. Pardon my broken French. But mother effer, didn't you go to college too? Wouldn't you be out there protesting if you were in school right now? But now he's an elected official who's getting money stuffed into his pockets by those who helped him get in office, and he gotta walk the company line. I'm just saying. Let me go back.
For desperate measures.
For now, New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she has no plans to send in the
Desperate times call for desperate measures. What's so desperate about it? All the kids are saying is, why are you collecting tax money from Americans who are not cool with the killing of civilians, the wholesale killing of civilians that's being underreported? And we're going to talk about that in a minute too. This is why I said y'all got to get media sources that are non-mainstream and compare them and figure out what is true to you, okay? Anyway, man, let me keep going, man. All these kids are saying is it's a divestment protest. These protests are simply about divestment. They are like, look, and you know why they're doing it, right? Because if you want to hit a man where it hurts, you hit his pockets. Everybody knows that. Let me go. Let me keep going.
And we need the National Guard, law enforcement, or someone to come in here and take control.
Are you calling for the National Guard to come here?
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
For now, New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she has no plans to send in the Guard. Columbia announced today that because of the unrest, there will be a remote option for upcoming final exams. Graduation is set to take place on campus in 3 weeks, Nora.
Nancy Chen, thank you so much.
We're going to begin with that big question before the Supreme Court.
All right, y'all, that was that. I got a little bit passionate about it because I don't, again, the why students being labeled anti-Semitic, because they are simply saying we do not, as the American people, support the military action against civilians. Where's the harm in that? I'm sure these same, let me stop. Y'all, I want y'all to understand what's happening here. I want y'all to see what's happening. You've got people who, or countries, if you will, who have historically been seen as the enemy of the state, who are now positioning themselves as higher moral authorities. And you can say what you want to say about what goes on in their countries. I don't follow all of the world news like that. All I'm dealing with right now tonight is what's going on this soil. And you got students getting locked up and roughed up by 5-0 because they're simply protesting peacefully and saying, we don't want the school that we go to send money to this foreign state that is killing these other people who are practically defenseless because they're civilians. All right. Anyway, and any military man out there watching, any American military man that wore the uniform, such as myself, y'all already understand that there is a thing in the military where it is your duty to disobey an unlawful order. I'm just saying. That's the difference with American military. But let me keep it moving. All right. I won't get into the history of how that came to be, but let's just keep it moving. Let's see. Let me read this article for y'all. All right. This is from, let me get this out of the way. Sorry for any banging there that y'all heard on All right. Let me bring this up on the screen. This is from my website, and I wrote this 2 years ago. All right. Wrote it in 2022, about a year and a half. Here we go. And y'all know what was happening at the time. You're going to see the thumbnail when I bring it up on the screen here. Let's see. Let me read some comments before I go there. Kent State all over again. Absolutely sustainable. Let's see. I don't know anyone who is okay with sending our tax dollars to those people. No one wants this. Exactly. And really, it's funding. It ain't. And nobody shows the American people what a line item report of, what is being sent to what agencies overseas. All right. Because of course, some of those tax dollars, maybe you're helping to feed the poor. I don't know. But when you understand that they don't manufacture their own weapons in their country, then you start asking some questions. I'm just saying, they come to the American and say, hey, we need more money. And Joe, like, I got you. Boom, here you go. Meanwhile, you got people hungry living on the street in tent cities, in big cities all over the United States. That money could easily put up housing for those people that are living in tents. But we send it somewhere to put more people in tents in another country. Toro Girl said, control. That word came out of his mouth. National Guard against our own children. Exactly. Sustainable threat of National Guard or police proves democracy does not exist. I heard somebody call it demoncracy is what I've heard people call it. But, it is what it is. Let's see. You can't say nothing about them people. They are the most protected people in the country. Utterly ridiculous. Oh, man, you reminded me of something. If I remember, I'm going to bring that video up. But let's deal with this article real quick for y'all. All right. This is a piece I wrote. Y'all can check my blog out, www.mdtalford.com. Okay. This is a piece I wrote a year and a half ago. Is anti-Semitism losing its steam? Okay. And y'all see the images on the screen there. Let me make sure I got it up here. Okay, good. Let me see if I can't pinch the zoom, make it a little bit bigger. All right. And if y'all haven't subscribed, just jump right over here. Just drop your email address in there and hit subscribe. I haven't published anything in a while, y'all, but when I do, it'll come right to your inbox. Okay. Doesn't cost you anything. You'll get an email saying, hey, Matt just uploaded this article, whatever. So, and that might be a good way to keep in touch with me because you never know when these platforms are going to be like, yo, man, we don't like you saying no more. You got to go. All right. So go ahead and subscribe to mdtalford.com. Again, you'll only be notified via email when I update and put new content out there. Here we go. All right. With the recent media storm of allegations, this was drafted on October 31st, 2022. Title is Anti-Semitism Losing Its Steam? And anti-Semitism is in quotes. All right. You'll see why I did that in a minute. And actually, this article needs a little bit of editing. I didn't have time to get to it today. Y'all know how it is when you're a writer and you're editing your own stuff without, having that. I got a team that helps me with my books, but with the proofreading and stuff like that. But when I'm doing it on my blog, sometimes I just drop it in there. Now enough, because I can hear the voice of somebody that I know and love telling me, stop explaining yourself. So anyway, here we go. With the recent media storm of allegations of anti-Semitism being directed at such iconic personalities as Kanye West for statements made in a now infamous tweet directed towards sports and entertainment industry execs, and days later, NBA player Kyrie Irving for his mentioning of a biblical anthropological book and documentary series titled Hebrews to Negroes by Ron Dalton Jr., it may be time to do a closer examination of the term anti-Semitic and review the etymology of the root word, Semite. For a breakdown of the etymology of anti-Semitic, see the video link at the end of this article. Okay. Next, it also begs the question, has labeling someone an anti-Semite for stating the obvious regarding the overwhelming majority of ownership principles in the sports, entertainment, publishing, and banking industries become the new way to play the race card? Should an individual or group claiming Hebrew or Jewish ethnicity who does not share the same genetic makeup as those mainstream individuals who claim that status today also be labeled anti-Semitic for making those claims? If so, why? In the case of Ye, aka Kanye, or formerly known as Kanye West, posting a tweet that stated that he was, quote, going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, end quote. Y'all remember that. That was big news a year and a half ago. Followed by stating that he, quote, cannot be anti-Semitic because Black people are Jews too, end quote, was his claim to status as a descendant of the storied tribe of Judah, one of the 12 tribes of ancient Israel and descendants of Jacob via father Isaac and mother Rebekah, and via grandfather Abraham and grandmother Sarah. Was his claim accurate? Of course, this leads to the second and most recent high-profile target of the latest salvo of anti-Semitic labeling as of the time of this article's publication date, Kyrie Irving. Days ago, Kyrie Irving was accused of promoting a film which, quote, contained anti-Semitic misinformation, end quote. The 2018 documentary film Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, directed by anthropologist and filmmaker Ronald Dalton Jr., is an in-depth exploration of the origins of a people whom history has reclassified as African American, Afro-Caribbean, or Black, with Black being neither a geographical location nor spoken language. I have personally watched the 3.5-hour documentary twice and have yet to make the connection between it and allegations of anti-Semitic misinformation, which in and of itself is a matter of opinion, not fact. Why I feel that anti-Semitism is losing its steam. My understanding of the terms anti-Semite and anti-Semitic is that those terms did not exist, and if at all, not in widespread use prior to World War II. Now, they did exist. I think it dates back to the 1800s, but it wasn't widely used, okay? We all have learned about the atrocities endured by European Jewish people from 1939 to 1945 at the hands of Adolf Hitler. After World War II ended, anyone, anywhere in the known world who, either verbally or by their physical actions, expressed hatred against the Jewish people was labeled an anti-Semite and frowned upon by both Jewish people and those who loved them and sympathized with their plight. Today, though, it seems that the term anti-Semite is now a broad brushstroke applied to anyone who verbally disapproves of anything done by Jewish people holding positions of power in government or industry. The term also seems to be applied to anyone who claims that status, Hebrew, Jew, Israelite, who does not share the same genetic appearance of the modern Jew, which takes us back to the title of this article. Is the apparent economic, media, and political targeting of people like Ye, Kyrie Irving, Nick Cannon, and other high-profile celebrities that also identify as Black and or Israelite or Jew steer the term anti-Semite into a direction that veers away from its original application? I believe so, and here's why. One would be hard-pressed to find any so-called Black people who, if asked, would tell you that they hate so-called Jewish people. Most quote-unquote Black people, whether working class or wealthy, could really care less about what goes on in the lives of anyone outside of their homes, families, or circles of friends. Here in America, so-called Black people still represent the largest consumer base by ethnic group, while at the same time representing the lowest percentage of business owners. So who has time to hate anyone? And in case you're wondering why I continuously use quotation marks around the word Black, watch the short video below. What can simple bags of flour teach us about race? I promote that video all the time on my channel. If y'all haven't seen it yet, it's on my channel. Just look it up. What can simple bags of flour teach us about race? Now, to continue on to the end, final thoughts on the latest allegations of anti-Semitism. My final thoughts on Ye, Kyrie Irving, and any melanated individuals claiming status as descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are these. How does anyone claiming any one ethnicity, not the religion, that is a whole other argument, thereby make them anti-same ethnicity that you claim? Where is the logic in that? How does a so-called Black man saying, I am a Jew, or I am Hebrew, or I am an Israelite, get him labeled as someone who hates another? There are a number of so-called white Christian pastors who have argued that the so-called Negro who came to America as involuntary servants are descendants of the royal house of Judah, and yet not once have we seen them publicly labeled as being anti-Semitic. I wonder why that is. See the examples at the end of this article, and those examples are videos I've shown on this channel before. One of them is by a guy whose channel is called Torah to the Tribes, and another one was a video I picked up off social media of a white pastor telling his brown-skinned parishioners that they were of the royal house of Judah. Never heard either one of those guys or seen them called to the carpet and being labeled anti-Semitic. But anyway, I'll keep going. In the end, I think that, in my opinion, the erroneous claims of anti-Semitism being brought against so-called Black celebrities has had an uncalculated and unintended damaging effect on the original strength of the term, and as a result, we could see the term begin to disappear in the not so distant future. Why? I'll answer by asking a question. Does the so-called black man hate anyone due to their religious beliefs? I think I speak for the entire culture when I answer unequivocally, no. The only interreligious hatred that I have seen, historically or in modern times, has been between Catholics and Protestants, which was white on white violence, Christians and Muslims, the historical holy wars, and beginning in the mid 20th century between Islamic fundamentalists and Zionist fundamentalists. I have Jewish written here, but I'm going to change that to Zionist because that's really what it's about. None of the above had or has anything to do with the so-called black man. So I just named three warring factions or three different groups of warring factions that fought each other over religious beliefs, and none of them had anything to do with the so-called black man. So before I end this article, there is one more point of confusion that is worth addressing. Jewish faith versus Jewish ethnicity. In claims of anti-Semitism, there seems to be some confusion regarding whether those labeled as such are anti the religion or anti the ethnicity. But why? The answer to this complex situation is a rather simple one. On the one hand, there are those who claim status as bloodline Jewish who either practice Judaism, are converts to Christianity, Messianic, or are not religious in practice at all. On the other hand, there are those who do not claim ethnic status as Jewish, but convert to the religion via a lengthy process outlined here. Click here to learn about the converting to Judaism. If you want to see that, it's a link to kabod.org, and it's an article titled How to Convert to Judaism. Matter of fact, let me just pull it up really quick. All right. So it's on the website, kabod.org, How to Convert to Judaism. I read it. It's a long ASS process. Okay. I think it takes like 3 years or something like that. And the time you can get a master's degree is how long it takes to convert to Judaism. And you're under strict observation and tutelage as a part of that process. But anyway, so when someone is labeled or mislabeled an anti-Semite, is that person tagged as such because they might be cool with Jewish people as a whole, but perhaps are not a fan of the religion? Or are they perhaps indifferent to the religion, but dislike the people for some odd reason as a group? Which to me is still confusing, because isn't it humanly possible for someone to be cool with, say, black people in general, but not like Kanye West, or be cool with Jewish people in general, but for some reason do not like former LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling? And I'm going to show y'all something interesting about him a little bit later in this presentation tonight. I asked this question because the negligent journalism I've seen covering Ye as of recent has seemed to muddle the religion and the ethnicity together. Watch my YouTube commentary below titled The War on Ye, where I discuss the negligent journalism that has fueled the allegations. In the end, can you see how all the confusion and allegations involving the use of strong implications having term, anti-Semitism, which was once upon a time a concrete, well-defined, and easily understood one, post-World War II, has through negligent use led to its own instability? Or instability? It's a question, sorry. It appears that the media as an entity has made a gross error in judgment with their recent attacks on individuals like Ye and Kyrie Irving, one that could likely lead to calling someone anti-Semitic being akin to what so-called blacks and Negroes have been accused of for decades before, during, and after the Civil Rights Movement, which was playing the race card too much. For example, this thing keeps happening to me because I'm black. Is it akin to that, y'all? Is it getting there? I know this has been a sensitive topic, but some things need to be openly discussed. Thank you for reading. Be well. Okay. And in the bottom, I've got the links to the War on Ye. And then I could bring up this TikTok video on, and you know what? Let me go ahead and bring that up. That it's not super long, and it may be interesting to somebody. So let's bring that up.
They say Kanye anti-Semitic. Let's connect the dots. Recedes anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. It's a noun. Year 1882. Hostility towards or discrimination against the Jews as a religion, ethnic, or racial group. Anti-Semitic. Anti-Semite. Now, who was the original Semites? Recedes. Semite. Now, a member of a group of the Semitic-speaking people of the Near East, Northern Africa, including the Arabs, Ethiopian, Hebrews, and Phoenicians. A Jew, Bible, descendant of Shem. Book reference, the Jew, a Negro. Semitic race, Assyrians, Hebrews, and Phoenicians. Now, what is the word Semitic describing? Semitic, adjective, of or relating to the Semites or their languages or culture, of or relating to or being a subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic language group that includes Arabic, Hebrew, Aramaic. So the real Jews are a Jew, an Arab, Ethiopian, Hebrews, Phoenician, and also Afro-Asiatics. According to the Merriam-Webster Collegiate Dictionary, 10th edition, and the American Heritage College Dictionary, received all Afro-Asiatics, the Jews, will be considered or described as Egyptians, Berbers, Cushites, Chaldaic subfamilies. So the original Jews was described as Berbers? More, a noun, a member of a Muslim people of mixed Berber and Arab descent, now living chiefly in Northwest Africa. So Afro-Asiatic, Jew, Hebrew, Egyptian, Berber are all Moors? From the Oxford Universal Dictionary, Moor, mixed Berber or Arab race, mostly black or very swarthy, a Negro. So what did they mean by calling these Moorish Berber Jews swarthy? Swarthy, of a dark color, complexion, or caste. So as you can see, the Jewish Semites are the swarthy, of a dark color, complexion, Afro-Asiatic, Egyptian, Berber, Arab race known as Moors. Now that we know the original Semites were dark Arab Moors, the Jew, so who are these imposters trying to cancel Kanye? Can't cancel the truth.
All right. Let me read some thank you, Tora girl. She said great article. Thank you so much. Let me read some comments here. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Tora girl. Yeah, if y'all haven't done so already, please hit that like button for me. It definitely helps people know that we're live here, and we got a hot topic we're talking about. Okay, so let's see, where are we getting this money from? Tora girl, did you see the video I did about the link between water terms and finance, and what the guy on there was saying? He said we need money, we print it. It's not backed by anything. The U.S. doesn't back. Our money, our dollar is not backed by gold or any precious metal anymore. Okay, so where are we getting it? That's a great question. Hewlett Packard or Canon or whatever the favorite, Epson, whatever printer they use. It's coming from an industrial printer. All right, here we go. That's where it's coming from. All right, so let's see. I'd like to hear who's telling net and nut jobs, who's pulling his strings. Yeah, well, you're gonna find out. I meant what to do. Yeah, I got you. We're telling them what to do. I got you. No, I'm gonna show you in a minute. Scott Ritter. I heard Scott Ritter bring this guy's name up, and a couple of other guys out there that are in the know that I watch. Larry Johnson, some of these other people. Was it Colonel McGregor or whatever? Is Douglas McGregor? Is it? I don't know. But there's a few people I watch that are ex-military guys or did defense work and stuff like that have YouTube channels, and they come on to other people's podcasts and they drop some knowledge and whatnot. And so they've mentioned this name that I'm going to show you in another video in just a minute. Kanye is thrown off, but he was right. Revelations 2:9-3:9 says it. Yep. And nobody talks about that. Nobody wants to talk about that. It's right there in the same Bible. No one wants to talk about that. Like, who's the who there? Lady Dagger status. They're twisted and manipulated the truth so much that when you do hear the truth, you don't believe it. Exactly. They fear us all understanding who we are and spreading that truth. Amen to that. Tora girl said there's a strong oppression over all the world. We can stay in fear or stay in enlightenment. We need to check ourselves and not let anyone keep us in fear and not speak up. I say it all the time, y'all. They are afraid of you using your voice, the sword. So they try to make you afraid of using your voice. Listen, when you are high vibrational, all someone that can't get to that level that you're vibrating at can do is try to tempt you into coming down to their vibrational level, because that's where they can deal with you. I just had this conversation with somebody earlier. Okay. That whole my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you reject knowledge, I will reject you, and you'll be no priest to me. Hosea 4 and 6. Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. What law? Universal law. How things work. How things work. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. If his people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, then what you think they're going to do? They're going to keep you in a lack of knowledge. Why? So you can be destroyed. How do they get you to do it? They get you to reject knowledge. When you reject knowledge, he said, I'm going to reject you and you'll be no priest to me. Why? Why is that important? Because the real ancient priests and priestesses had the power to control 1, 2, 3, 4, all 5 elements. The real priest of the Most High had the power to control the elements. Who can defeat somebody who can control the elements? When you can call fire from heaven. What 100,000 man army can stand before one priest of the order of Melchizedek? Let's deal with that. That's the level of priest he was saying. People get that, they get that scripture mixed up and they think priest in terms of church or the religious sense. No, these priests were powerful spirit beings, powerful energy beings that had the ability to control the elements. So you put one man in front of a 100,000 man army and tell that 100,000 man army to charge that one man or that one woman, and they can control the elements. That's not even a fair fight. They can speak to the earth and tell it to open up and swallow that 100,000 man army. Moses had those kind of powers. Okay. Joshua, who spoke to the sun and said, stand still. Don't move. I need you to stay right in this spot so I can finish off these 5 Amorite kings. If the sun goes down, they're going to escape and we're going to have to deal with them later. These are the priests that he was talking about. Those are just 2 examples. The Messiah. He said, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Why? Because you reject knowledge. He said, so because you reject knowledge, I'll reject you and you will be no priest to me. How do you get to be a priest? The knowledge. It's right there. That's a circular scripture right there. That's a circular scripture. But your enemies know who you are. You just don't know. So you out here rejecting the knowledge. Exactly, you and your feelings. Exactly. I'm gonna get to that. I remember when that Webster dictionary was on every school supply list. We have to research and fact check to understand. Absolutely. All right. So let's keep this show going, because I think I was about to show you all something and I stopped to read some comments. Let me look. Make sure I don't have something up on the screen over here. All right. No, I don't. Let's open that. I'm gonna keep that open. All right. Keep that open. Keep that open. And keep this open. Okay, so let me keep it moving. There was something I was gonna bring up, but it'll come back to me if it needs to. So I'm not worried about it. Let's talk about the North Node here. This is gonna blow your mind. This is a point I made. It's not in any specific order, but I know we was talking about the different houses and stuff before. But I want to show y'all something that I found very interesting about the North Node. What is the North Node currently in, y'all? Y'all have heard me say this in a number of videos. The North Node is currently in the sign of Aries. Aries is the energy of war and conflict. Okay. The North Node is the node of destiny for the planet. It changes signs every 18 months. Okay. So we're going to be in this war and conflict energy for at least another 18 months worldwide. Now, there's always some kind of conflict popping off, but when you got high concentrations of it, you tend to see that when the North Node is in the sign of Aries. Now, watch this. I am looking back because I asked myself, there's a peculiar pattern between 2024 and 1968. 1968, let's bring it up. Let's look at what was going on in the world in 1968. All right. I'm show y'all. This is why y'all need to know a little bit of astrology. I know people keep saying, you're going to go to hell for looking at astrology and all. If that's how you feel, at this day and age where we are right now in the timeline, the Earth timeline, if that's how you feel, just keep feeling it. Matt ain't trying to save nobody. This that season where either you got oil for your lamp or you don't. All right. The bride and the bridegroom are coming. Either you got oil in your lamp or you don't. I ain't trying to save nobody no more. You believe what you want to believe at this point. This is where we are. This is where we are. Okay. 1968. 1968 events. There's a parallel between 2024 and 1968. Okay. Coretta Scott King. I think y'all know what this picture right here is representing. Dr. King ain't there, so y'all already know what this picture is representing. Okay. Look who back here, by the way. Look at this dude back here. How about that? Stories for other days, as some people say. Okay. Oh, we got some Harry Belafonte action over there. Dope. Very nice. Like Harry. All right, here we go. 1968. What do we have? We had Prague Spring. Let's see. Soviet armed forces invaded and occupied Czechoslovakia in August. Okay. Reinstituting hardline communist rule. That happened in 1968. North Korea. Some 15 years after the Korean War, the still tenuous relations between North Korea and the United States gave way to a crisis after North Korea captured the Navy intelligence vessel, the USS Pueblo, and its crew. Okay. 83 held 83 crew members in a POW camp before the two countries could negotiate their release. Okay. The Tet Offensive. It was a turning point in the Vietnam War. The after the Tet Offensive was over, the U.S. basically said that this war is unwinnable now. Which after they stayed another 7 years in Vietnam, I don't know why, after the Tet Offensive pretty much told them that the war couldn't be won at that point. But that was in 1968. Okay. February, let's see. The U.S. State Department announced the highest U.S. casualty toll of the Vietnam War, with 543 Americans killed in action and 2,547 wounded during the previous week. Okay. Lyndon B. Johnson bedeviled by Vietnam. All of this stuff was going on in 1968. Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated. All right. Student protest. Let's read this one because this is the one I wanted y'all to see. Several hundred students gathered on the campus of Columbia University in New York City to protest the Vietnam War, as well as the university's plan to build a gymnasium on public land in Harlem. You don't hear about that one too much. I just learned about that today. I knew about the Vietnam War protest. I didn't know about the gymnasium protest, but that had to deal with so-called black students. Very interesting. That was part of the protest going on at Columbia University too. And I'm going to show you something very interesting about the name Columbia in just a minute. For nearly a week, the student protesters occupied several buildings on Columbia's campus. University officials then called in officers from the New York City Police Department, who broke up the demonstration, beating and arresting hundreds of protesters. I chose not to show those videos. They're still doing it. They're doing it here in 2024. I just chose not to show those videos. May 6th, the protest at Columbia exemplified the wave of student activism that swept the globe in 1968, including mass demonstrations in Poland, West Germany, Mexico City, Paris, Italy, and elsewhere. All the same stuff they're doing now. It's just a different subject. The Gaza thing. Before they were protesting the Vietnam War, 1968, Robert F. Kennedy assassinated. At the Chicago Democratic Convention. Okay. I'm sorry. Chicago Democratic Convention. RFK's assassination left Vice President Humphrey as the most likely Democratic nominee, even though he supported Johnson's unpopular Vietnam War policy. Olympic protest. Nixon wins the White House. Apollo 8 orbits the moon. Okay. All of this crazy stuff was popping off in 1968. Now, let me show you something here. Let me stop sharing for a minute. All right. You're connecting the dots, Matt. This is why astrology is important. Thank you. It is. It is so. It so much is so much. Let's see. Tamaria Bay. What's up, Tamaria? How you doing? This world is so backwards that now it's hard deciphering what's truly real. Exactly. But y'all stick with y'all, boy, man. I'm gonna put it together for y'all. I know I have not done a video in a couple of weeks, but I told y'all before, if divine inspiration doesn't hit, I don't put out any content. That's just how I move. Do you think the storms are part of the war energy? So much violent weather. I think that's the earth getting tired. They ain't got nothing to do with the war energy. I think the earth is fed up and the earth is responding. It's a living organism. And if something in your body is making you sick, you run a temperature, and the equivalent of the storm would be you throwing up. Okay. You sweating profusely, whatever. That's the equivalent of a storm that we see in the earth when the earth is sick of what's going on it. Same thing. We're all cells on this bigger organism. We're microorganisms on the macroorganism. When the microorganism makes the macroorganism sick, the macroorganism releases an immune response that tries to get rid of the microorganism that is offending it. That's what's happening on the earth right now. Let's see. I will tell you what, if you don't learn nothing else, you better learn astrology. We are in the transits of World War II right now. If you can connect the dots, then you will understand how real astrology is. Let me show you. I'm glad you said that. Let me bring this up. You and your feelings, that's a great addition. Let me show you this. This is from www.drstanley.com. This is the North Node calendar. You can look back at it. It's like an almanac, if you will. You can look back and see what sign the North Node was in when. All right. I just talked about 1968. Let's go here. This table row right here. From 19, let me bring it up bigger. From August of 1967 to April 19th of 1969, which includes 1968, the North Node was in the sign of Aries. So here we go again. Same stuff happening, y'all. This is why I tell y'all, pay attention to what sign the North Node is in. If you don't know anything else about astrology, pay attention to what side the North Node is in, because the sign that the North Node is in is going to color the energy for the entire 18-month period that the Earth is sitting in that North Node sign. They call it the node of destiny. Okay, so all of this stuff that's happening, it was destined to happen. I want y'all to see that. North Node is in the same sign it was in 1968 when all this crazy stuff was popping off. And guess who was at the forefront? Columbia University. Who was at the forefront of the nationwide protest? Columbia University. That's a very, very peculiar pattern. Okay. Let's see. Is that all I want to show y'all from Columbia University? Let me stop sharing for a minute. All right, so I got that done. All right, let's get that off of there. Let me show y'all this, okay? Let me show y'all about this name Columbia. Let me show y'all that real quick, because there's some energy about the name. I tell you all the time, names hold vibrations. So you have to be careful what you name, what you call yourself, what you go by, what you name your children, and what the energy of these different places are that hold certain names. Watch this. Watch this. This is gonna blow your mind too. All right. This is from a website called Kabbalarians.com. Name meaning. All right. Look at Columbia. This is the energy or the vibration of Columbia. Your first name, I just pretended it was a masculine first name. Your first name, Columbia, makes you independent, resourceful, practical, and patient. Is that not the energy of these protests that they're doing? They're like, look, we're doing our own thing. Nobody else is stepping up trying to help these people. And we're sending money over here. We're telling our university, we're going to protest as long as you're sending money over here, because this money is being used to harm people. Okay. Now, second bullet point, you could be inventive along scientific or technical lines. Although you are not naturally spontaneous in musical or artistic expression, you can develop technical proficiency along these lines. You are fussy about details and seek perfection in whatever you undertake. That's the energy of Columbia University. Being somewhat willful and skeptical, you learn best through your own experiences and seek proof through facts. Next, you work best alone, making your own decisions and learning from your own experiences. Columbia said, look, we don't need nobody. We're going to do this anyway. All right. Despite your loyalty to friends, your communication at times is stilted, too candid, and frank. Y'all saw the videos. That's Columbia University. And that's the energy of New York, too. Let me say that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm from New York. When you live in New York or you spent any significant time in New York, you know that's the energy of the city. So you got to double with the name Columbia plus the energy of New York. It's right there. All right. This is from another website, namediscoveries.com. About Columbia. The name Columbia is derived from the Latin word columba, meaning dove. It is often associated with the United States and has been used as a poetic and patriotic name for the country. Additionally, it has been used to name various places, institutions, and symbols in the United States, representing freedom, liberty, and the spirit of exploration. Freedom, liberty, and the spirit of exploration. The whole purpose for them asking to divest funds from Israel is to free the people of Palestine who are being slaughtered. Okay. And then again, another meaning of it is dove. What is dove? Dove is a symbol of peace. Just thought that was interesting, y'all. I wanted to share that. Okay. Let's see. Sustainable said, I think in some cases the violent weather is due to idiots shooting stuff into the atmosphere. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, that's a real thing too. Y'all look up HARP. It's a real thing. Remember, they're afraid of you using your voice, so they make you afraid to use your voice. Look that up, y'all. Look that up right there. DC District of Columbia says it all. Exactly. All right. So let's move along. Let's keep it moving. What we got next? All right. So 8 year. We're moving through, y'all. We're moving through. We're going to be done in just a few. 8-year energy is about revelations and disclosures. Okay. 2 + 2 + 4, 2024 is 8th house energy. That's Scorpionic. Let's read what's happening here, y'all. Let's see what's happening. I want to show y'all. I labeled this section more revelations and disclosures because I wanted y'all to see some things that I found shocking. And this stuff is continuing to come out. It's continuing to come out. All right. So, where did I do with that article? Hang on one second. Let me bring that up. Okay. Alrighty. Now let's go back here. And all right, I want y'all to watch this video right here. This is disgusting is the word I'm going to use. Disgusting. Another 8-year disclosure. Another 8-year energy revelation right here. This is why they're protesting on these college campuses.
دكتور أشرف فكرة ليست المرة الأولى التي تابعنا.
I got to tell y'all, excuse me, this is in Arabic, so you're going to have to read the captions. All right, just wanted to tell y'all that now. Just going to have to read the captions. Here we go. This is from a YouTube channel called Middle East Eye, okay? And this came across my timeline. I wasn't looking for it. This came across the recommended videos list, and I was like, what? Y'all check it out. We go back to the beginning.
دكتور أشرف فكرة إن ليست المرة الأولى التي تابعنا فيها أن
Really? Y'all gonna pop an ad right in the middle? Really? Like 2 seconds in? Really? And then you spin it on me? Really? Oh, they don't want that shown. All right, I'm still connected. I'm not sure why they jamming me up on that. I'm gonna try it one more time, y'all. Y'all look at the title. Look at the title.
دكتور أشرف فكرة إن ليست المرة الأولى التي تابعنا فيها أن الاحتلال يستولي على جثامين الشهداء.
Fair use, YouTube. Fair use. Let's be open here. Let's be open and honest, okay? Fair use.
ينقلها إلى مكان ما ثم يعود بعد ذلك ليلقيها في قطاع غزة ويسلمها هناك للمواطنين. ما الذي يفعله الاحتلال الإسرائيلي بجثامين الشهداء؟
الاحتلال الإسرائيلي يعني في كل منطقة يدخلها يقوم بقتل وإحداث إعدامات.
You know what, y'all? I got a better idea. I'm going to kill the volume, and I'll just read the captions on the screen there. Because, I mean, I know y'all can read it, but some people might be driving and they can't see it. So I just thought about that. Let me just read them. I'm going to back up. I apologize for the inconvenience. Okay, here we go. Y'all, I'll pay attention to what's on the screen. If you're driving, you'll just have to, and I'll put a link to this in the description box at the end of the video. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat box too. Let me do that now. Yeah, the title, Lady Dagger says exactly. Okay, I put the link in there. Y'all can check that out on your own. But for the benefit of those who are driving, and we love what you're doing, especially if you're a trucker, thank you for doing that job. It is probably one of the lesser heralded jobs, but it's so important. So if you're a trucker and you're watching me, listening to me on the road, I appreciate you. Here we go. Dr. Ashraf, it's not the first time we've learned of the occupation taking possession of the bodies of the martyrs, then transferring them somewhere, then returning them afterwards to dispose of them in the Gaza Strip, handing them over there to the citizens. What does the Israeli occupation do with the bodies of the martyrs? The Israeli occupation, in every area they enter, They kill and carry out mass executions. Then they take these bodies to an unknown location in Israel. Wow. And steal organs from these bodies. And also do research related to DNA analysis and the like. Then they return these bodies to the Gaza Strip. But regrettably, they come back either decomposed or with stolen organs. Organ theft, scientifically speaking, I mean logically, y'all, this is making me sick to read it, but I'm going to do it anyway. The organs might be worthless after some time, after death. So what does Israel do with them? These things might be used by the Israeli occupation in the context of science or otherwise. So what concerns us is receiving the bodies, and the Israeli occupation must, through international organizations, reveal the identity of these bodies. That makes sense. Because thousands of them are still unidentified. So people don't know who's missing, loved ones, whatever. We're talking about 34,000 today bodies reaching the hospitals. But I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Let me go back. I got to be proper. We're talking about today, 34,000 bodies reaching the hospitals. But there are bodies we receive from the Israeli side that have no identity, no identification, nothing. So we deal with the numbers. We deal with numbers that we receive and we bury them. And we announce to the public that we have received them from the occupation or received via the international community or the Red Cross or the Palestinian coordination, perhaps 80 to 100 bodies each time. And they are buried. Thus, these bodies are buried without knowing their names and without their relatives identifying them. This complicates the scene inside the Gaza Strip regarding the fate of thousands of those missing within the Strip, as the major said. So we are before a truly very painful and harsh situation on the Palestinian community in the Gaza Strip when they do not know the fate of their children, whether they were killed or still detained by the occupation. Therefore, the international community and the international organizations must firstly reveal the fate of these missing and detainees in Israeli custody, and then provide international committees to investigate the circumstances of all the crimes committed by the Israeli occupation and the mass graves Israel creates and establishes in various areas of the Gaza Strip to cover up these crimes. Thus, the international community and all international institutions must play their part to uncover these individuals and also to expose the crimes of the Israeli occupation. A final question related, and you've undoubtedly experienced much of this in the context. Are these field executions what we're seeing now with bodies buried beneath the ground? Were they killed due to direct targeting, shelling, or were they executed through direct field occupations? The guy answers, mostly what happens here, the guy answering says, mostly what happens to conceal and hide their crimes. The Israeli occupation carries out field executions either by firing squad, through torture, or by various forms of crimes they commit in residential areas. Dang, y'all. Therefore, what the Israeli occupation does with mass graves, the aim is to cover up and hide these crimes to evade international justice. Thus, uncovering such mass graves accelerates pushing the Israeli occupation towards facing international courts, including the International Criminal Court. Yo, is this an ad? Yeah, it is. Hang on. Okay, that's the end of it. And I'm glad. Y'all got any comments on that? Yo. That was disgusting to read, y'all. I mean, I watched it. It hits different when you're reading it out loud and you hear your own voice saying it. But I know there's people, and let me bring that up. Let me bring that back up one more time here. What was that? I'm not gonna bring that back up. I'm not. Hang on a sec. Oh, they won't let me copy it. Okay. All right, so I don't even know how to copy that, but Anyway, wow, that was rough, y'all. That was rough. That was hard. That was tough. So but again, I know some naysayers watching that would say, oh, we don't know that that's what they're saying. It's in Arabic. We don't understand that. Sustainable Farming said organ stealing is happening here. It's also sick and evil. Exactly. 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 Let me read this article right here for y'all, because the naysayers are going to say, "Oh, well, that was just a couple of Arab guys speaking Arabic. Nobody knows what they're saying." Somebody could have said, people always want to be naysayers, but here comes the receipts. This came across my device a few hours ago. Okay, this was printed April 26th, which is today, 12:55 p.m. Pacific time. Let me bring this up on the screen for y'all, because this is the receipts for anybody that wants to say, "Oh, that was just two guys talking. You can't believe that." This is from Time Magazine. All right. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Hopefully y'all could read this. Can I pinch to zoom? View? Zoom in. Okay, there we go. Let me zoom in one more time. Okay. There you go. Actually, I wonder if I can play this. It's from Time Magazine. All right, that's about all I'm going to play of that. That's
Every 10 minutes, a child is killed or wounded. I'll let you calculate how many children must have been killed or wounded since this briefing began today.
All right, that's from Time Magazine, showing y'all that little snippet on the fair use. I've never showed a video from the app, so I want to make sure I'm not making anybody upset. But y'all check Time out. Let me read the article, okay? Mass graves of hundreds uncovered in Gaza sound alarm. Mass graves with hundreds of bodies were discovered at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis and Al Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. So this is for the naysayers that want to think that translation of that Arabic Middle East eye video I just showed before was hogwash or whatever. Because people always want to come in the comments and be like, whatever. This came from Time Magazine. So now you got a Western media source validating what they said over there. Here we go. Mass graves with hundreds of bodies were discovered last weekend at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis and Al Shifa Hospital in Gaza City, prompting serious concerns about war crimes, according to the OHCHR, the UN's Human Rights Office. Okay. Much remains unknown about the victims, but the discovery of the bodies comes after Israeli troops entered their 2-week operation at Al Shifa Hospital in early April. The hospital, which was once the main tertiary facility in the region before October 7th, has since been reduced to an empty shell. Troops also similarly raided Nasser Hospital, claiming that their intelligence showed Hamas was holding hostages in the medical center. Hospitals are entitled to very special protection under international humanitarian law, and the intentional killing of civilians, detainees, and others who are hors de combat, out of combat or action, is a war crime, said Volker Turk, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. Attacks on hospitals are one of 6 grave violations that the UN Security Council monitors and reports. Hospitals can lose their special protections, however, if they are used by a party to the conflict to commit outside their humanitarian functions and act harmful to the enemy, according to the ICC, or the International Committee of the Red Cross. What constitutes an act that is harmful to the enemy is not defined under international humanitarian law. However, the Red Cross does list the placing of a medical establishment or unit in proximity to a military objective with the intention of shielding it from enemy's military operations as an example. Turk has called for an independent investigation into the matter and reiterated his support for an immediate ceasefire. The European Union backed his call for an independent probe into the mass graves on Tuesday. Quote, among the deceased were allegedly older people, women, and wounded, while others were found tied and stripped of their clothes, said Ravina Shamdasani, spokesperson for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. Shamdasani shared that local health authorities in Gaza have also reported that some 30 Palestinians were buried in 2 graves in the courtyard of Al Shifa Hospital. At least 12 victims have been identified. though identification was not possible for others, what the guys just said in that conversation. Colonel Yamin Abu Suleiman, director of civil defense in Khan Yunis, told CNN that some of the bodies were possibly buried alive or executed, and that most of them were decomposed. Some family members also told CNN that they had been unable to locate the remains of their loved ones after Israeli troops attacked the hospital. Nadav Shoshani, a spokesman for the Israeli Defense Force, called that claim that Israeli troops buried Palestinians in mass graves misinformation. The grave in question was dug by Gazans a few months ago. This fact is corroborated by social media documentation uploaded by Gazans at the time of the burial, he tweeted on April 24th. Any attempt to blame Israel for burying civilians in mass graves is categorically false and a mere example of a disinformation campaign aimed at delegitimizing Israel. Shoshani added that military personnel had examined the corpses buried near Nasser Hospital to make sure that there were no hostages or missing people among the victims. He says all remains were respectfully returned to their place. Gazan authorities affirmed that graves were previously dug before the Israeli military arrived, but alleged that troops added bodies to the gravesite. Time magazine has not independently verified the claims about the cause of death of individuals. More than 34,000 Palestinians have been killed, and another 77,368 people have been injured in Gaza, per the Hamas-controlled Palestinian Ministry of Health. Interesting that they put that in there, Hamas-controlled. The White House has expressed concern over the matter. We want answers, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said during a press conference on Wednesday. We want to see this thoroughly and transparently investigated. Okay, that was a Time magazine article on that pretty much sort of corroborates what those two gentlemen were talking about on that Middle East Eye video. So I got to tell you, that was not easy to read. That was not easy to read. It wasn't easy to read the comments or the transcript of that conversation, but that was also not easy to read that. Revelations 2024 revelations, 8-year revelations. You know, the thing that is sad here is that when you read that and when you hear these gentlemen talking about what the organs stealing and the experimentation and stuff like that, and the irony there, y'all, is if you want to call a spade and do a proper juxtaposition, this is the same thing that the Nazis were accused of during World War II. So how ironic. I'm going to let y'all finish that. I'm not even going to finish that statement. I'm going to let y'all finish that. How ironic. How ironic. How ironic. Anyway, damn, y'all. That's effed up. But anyway, let me go. Let me keep going. So exposures. Let me get off that and get on to something a little bit lighter. Okay. Exposures. So another thing I found out, things being brought to the light. Benjamin Netanyahu's real name is not Benjamin Netanyahu. And of course, he wasn't born in Israel. Wait till y'all find out where. Let me bring this up. TikTok. This is why they want to ban TikTok, y'all. This is why they want to ban TikTok right here. Nope, that's not the one. Is this the video I want to share? I'm going to share this. This one may be out of order. Probably needed to play this early, but I'm going to play this one anyway because I had it in here to play. Not because I didn't get to label these. I didn't have time. I don't remember which one this is, but let me play it. I brought it here to play, so it's relevant. Here we go.
If you're pro-Palestine, the U.S. Congress is gunning for you. As Mondoweiss recently reported, there were two really dangerous bills in December of 2023 in Congress that take aim at Palestine solidarity. The first bill passed in December was the bill titled Strongly Condemning and Denouncing the Drastic Rise of Anti-Semitism in the United States and Around the World. That bill made 5 declarations, 4 of which denounced anti-Semitism and expressed support for the Jewish community in the United States and around the world, as the title suggests. But the 4th clause was really critical because what it said was that the House clearly and firmly states that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. That part was absolutely the entire point of that bill. And we know that because, as Mondoweiss points out, that clause was the only one of the 5 in the resolve section that was anything other than blanket opposition to attack on Jewish people. This same bill also claimed that the phrase "from the river to the sea" is a rallying cry for the eradication of the state of Israel and the Jewish people. A claim that is just embarrassingly wrong and has been pointed out as being wrong time and time again. That being said, it really hasn't stopped Zionists from using this claim as they try to, again, delegitimize Palestinian solidarity advocacy. It's also notable to the absence of any concomitant mention of anti-Arab and Islamophobic attacks, despite the fact that we've seen a Palestinian-American child stabbed to death in Illinois, 3 young Palestinian-American men shot in Vermont, and a Palestinian student run over with a car in California. Among a huge rise in anti-Arab hate crimes along with anti-Semitic ones, makes it clear that this is not about protecting religious minorities at all. This bill, though it was framed as a bill concerned about anti-Semitism, was much more concerned about conflating anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism. The real goal here to undermine pro-Palestine work in the United States, right? To paint pro-Palestine organizers across the country as being anti-Semites. That brings us to the second bill highlighted by Mondoweiss, which is titled "To Establish the Commission to Study Acts of Anti-Semitism in the United States," H.R. 6578. This bill, in the words of Laura Friedman, is intended exclusively to target criticism of Israel and Zionism. As Laura stated, this is made clear from the whereas clauses, 100% of them being about October 7th and its aftermath and related press releases. The bill itself makes no mention of the white nationalism that is the source of the overwhelming majority of anti-Semitism, but focuses exclusively on incidents since October. Both this bill itself and the comments in the press release that announced it focus entirely on support for Palestinians as anti-Semitism. And how they define anti-Semitism in this bill is important because it is defined pretty loosely. The text of this bill says, in this act, the term anti-Semitism means a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed, 1, as a hatred towards Jews, and 2, by rhetorical and physical manifestations directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals, the property of the individuals, Jewish community institutions, or Jewish religious facilities. That might not sound terrible on the face of it, but as Mondoweiss points out, a certain perception of Jews is wide open to interpretation, and the inclusion of non-Jewish individuals widens the scope potentially to include Christian Zionists or other non-Jewish supporters of Israel. In his Rep. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, one of the Democratic co-sponsors of the bill, said, "This bipartisan, bicameral inquiry, which is supported by Jewish civil society leaders and experts, will complement the implementation of President Biden's first ever national strategy to combat anti-Semitism and inform key policy decisions in combating this disturbing trend." Now, what did she mean when she said Jewish civil society? Well, I think you can guess. She means AIPAC and the ADL, both of which are enthusiastic supporters of that bill. And as Mondoweiss points out incredibly critically, I think, the commission is hauntingly reminiscent of the House Un-American Activities Committee, or HUAC. And if you're a supporter of Palestinian liberation, the question, are you now or have you ever been a supporter of Palestinian rights, may be one you very well hear in the near future. That kind of legislation, again, is just an attempt by Zionists to essentially undermine Palestinian solidarity organizing, right? To target pro-Palestine organizers, to potentially lay the groundwork for criminalizing organizing for Palestine. And it's legislation that we need to be really aware of, because though a resolution or two may not necessarily constitute a grave threat, it is something that potentially lays the groundwork for things that are much worse in the future. But yeah, something worth thinking about. As always, free Palestine, and have a great day.
What do y'all think? What do y'all think? She said, let me go back. You know what's insane? Zelensky is a so-called Jew, but his army are neo-Nazis. Can't make this stuff up. Wow. Wow. Zionists align themselves with the Nazis. Look, listen. Look. Y'all, this is I mean, all of these secrets are dropping now. They're all dropping now. So let me bring up another video here. Let me talk about this for just a moment. I talked to you about this. Okay, I did play it out of order. It's okay. You know what? Since I did, let me bring this up real quick. Let's close that. So, and this is a little bit of a retro because I talked about this in the beginning, but what they're trying to pass now is if you do not agree with Zionism, which is it's almost like a political type of thing, really, more than it has nothing to do with religion. It's really political. If you are anti-Zionism, then you're somehow anti-Semitic. That, again, that screams of the same type of tactics that Nazi Germany was using on their own citizens. Okay, watch this. TikTok now. I see why they want to go. Exactly. That's why they want TikTok gone. Let me show you this. This is a little bit of history that is not really taught in schools much, but it's out there. Excuse me. Okay, this is from facinghistory.org. Protest in Germany abridged. Okay, investigate different examples of protest and resistance by Germans against the Nazi regime in the 1940s. So we're not even necessarily talking about Jewish people, for example. We're talking about German citizens who were standing up against the mistreatment of Jewish citizens of Germany. Okay, these were German citizens that were non-Jewish resisting the treatment of their fellow country people by the Nazi regime or whatever. So here we go. And by 1942, people living in Germany were increasingly aware of the mass murders in places to the east. Some of the first Germans to speak out against Nazi injustices were a group of students, always the students, right, at the University of Munich. In winter 1942, Hans Scholl, his sister Sophie, and their friend Christoph Probst formed a small group known as the White Rose. Hans, a former member of the Hitler Youth, had been a soldier on the Eastern Front, where he witnessed the mistreatment of Jews and learned about deportations. In 1942 and 43, the White Rose published 4 leaflets condemning Nazism. The first leaflet stated the group's purpose, the overthrow of the Nazi government. In the second leaflet, the group confronted the mass murder of Jews. They said, we do not want, I don't know if this is a quote from them or whatever, but we do not want to discuss here the question of the Jews, nor do we want in this leaflet to compose, okay, so this is from the leaflet, nor do we want in this leaflet to compose a defense or apology. No, only by way of example do we want to cite the fact that since the conquest of Poland, 300,000 Jews have been murdered in this country in the most bestial way. Here we see the most frightful crime against human dignity, a crime that is unparalleled in the whole of history. For Jews, too, are human beings, no matter what position we take with respect to the Jewish question, and a crime of this dimension has been perpetrated against human beings. In February 1943, the Nazis arrested the Scholls and Probst and brought them to trial. All 3 were found guilty and were guillotined that same day. Soon afterward, others in the group were also tried, convicted, and beheaded. In March 1943, German author Friedrich Reck Malitzschewin wrote in his diary, the Scholls are the first in Germany to have had the courage to witness for the truth. On their gravestones, let these words be carved, and let this entire people, which has lived in deepest degradation these last 10 years, blush when it reads them. Quote, he who knows how to die can never be enslaved. We will all of us someday have to make a pilgrimage to their graves and stand before them ashamed. Although the Nazis were able to destroy the White Rose by executing its members, they could not keep its message from being heard. Helmut von Moltke, a German aristocrat, smuggled the group's leaflets to friends in neutral countries. They, in turn, sent them to the Allies, who made thousands of copies and then dropped them over German cities. As a lawyer who worked for the German intelligence service, von Moltke had been aware of the murders for some time, but had taken no action. By late October, he was asking, quote, may I know this and yet sit at my table in my heated flat and have tea? Don't I thereby become guilty too? Interesting history, y'all. Interesting. So what we see again is, again, irony, because here you had German citizens who were non-Jewish sacrificing their lives for the rights and equal treatment and fair treatment of Jewish people in their country because they were being grossly mishandled by the Nazi party, okay? They sacrificed their lives. Non-Jewish Germans. One of them, a former Nazi soldier that saw what was happening and said, this is wrong, okay? Fast forward to 2024. And the United States government is trying to make it illegal to speak against the Zionist policy that is happening, being carried out as we speak in the Gaza Strip, in Palestine/Israel. Same stuff. So you want to make it illegal to call these people wrong or speak out about or say that what they're doing is wrong. Weren't those same people allegedly on the other side of that? Isn't it ironic that now you're becoming who did this to you? Just thought that was ironic. Just thought that was ironic. That's why I wanted to read that article for y'all. Okay, so let me spill some tea on Netanyahu for y'all, because we talking about irony and stuff is being brought to the light here in 2024. Let me give y'all a glass of net and tea. Okay, let's sip some net and tea here. That was the other one. Well, I gotta play it. I was looking for this. This is this is the power of these students at Columbia University. I'm gonna play this, and then we're gonna sip some net and tea. Okay, some net and ya tea.
For a demonstration that has set off nationwide protests, it is sure calm in Columbia University's tent encampment, having already faced down previous deadlines and police force.
The mood is joyful, joyous, excited. The students have demonstrated an incredible amount of resolve and resilience. The nights are cold and the days are hot.
But these pro-Palestinian demonstrators know the clock is ticking. Columbia has warned it is hours away from taking what it calls alternative options to get the tents down. Still, negotiations continue between the students and the school.
We believe we are making progress and hope that that progress continues so long as there are no threats being made regarding the students' safety.
For a while, the students cut off their negotiations with the school because of the threat that the National Guard might get sent in, and they're still not sure that threat is over. But as if to underscore the relaxed mood around here, no one made a fuss when hundreds of Israeli flags popped up nearby, and there was no reaction when a pro-Israeli demonstrator shouted into the camp. These protesters are keenly aware of what they've inspired around America.
It has been heartening. It's been heartening to see so many students across the country, know the risks and take them.
There is no indication the students will give up, but no indication the school will give in to their demands either, namely that the school cut business ties with Israel. But Columbia has a long history of bending to students' demands, from the Vietnam War in the 1960s to South Africa's apartheid system in the 1980s. Pretty confident you'll get what you were asking for?
Yes.
But how and when all this ends is anybody's guess. Andy Roschen, TRT World, New York.
All right. Had to show y'all that one. So again, peaceful protest, but the mainstream media tell you that these people are all anti-whatever. And as you saw there, nobody bothered anybody when they came and put all of those Israeli flags out there. It ain't about that. Nobody's being violent at all. But you let the mainstream media tell it. Doom and gloom. Let's just pray they don't F around and have a tenement square right here, or another Kent State, as somebody said. All right, let's sip some net and tea. Let's get some net and tea now, y'all. Let's get a little net and tea. Let's find out what's going on over here. Let's sip some net and tea. Let's find out what's really happening. This is the year 8 energy, y'all, where stuff's getting disclosed, secrets being revealed. Let's sip some net and tea, y'all. Here we go.
Ministers and politicians changed their names to make themselves sound more indigenous to the land, even though they're all from Europe. Benjamin Netanyahu is actually called Benjamin Milekowski, and he traces his roots back to Philadelphia and Poland.
And this living room was on top of a Hamas.
Y'all see that?
Y'all can go back and watch her video. It's super funny. But I keep saying the same thing. Like the Israeli prime minister and the Israeli president, like their accents are like very forced. Like it's not heavy or thick. It just seems really forced. And so I start looking up like the whole Israel birthright thing. And that's what the screenshot I previously showed. I'm going to pull it up again. Netanyahu is from Philadelphia, bro. He's, this man is American. Okay, Netanyahu is a city boy. Somebody come look at this. Look at that. Philadelphia in the United States. And they got raised in Jerusalem. No, that man is American. Okay, he's a city boy.
Oh no, hold up, y'all. Wait a minute. I got some more tea for y'all, man. Look, you come to the house. We ain't just gonna give you one cup of tea. All right. We're gonna give you a little bit more tea. Joy girl said, finally, LOL. Let me give y'all some more tea, man. Y'all still thirsty. Y'all still thirsty? Let me get y'all some more tea, man. We're gonna drink some tea tonight. Drink some hot tea, yo. Some netting tea, baby. Get a glass of that Lipton netting yachty. Let's do it. Come on, family. Y'all want some tea? Who want another tea bag? Who want that? Let's go. Here we go.
Wait, are you saying Benjamin Netanyahu's from Philly? For real? Oh, we gotta research this. Yo, he went to high school in Philly. Like, Cheltenham High School, y'all. That's in Philly, the Philly area. And he went to college in Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And he worked in America. So basically, he spent most of his life in America. And he's now the prime minister of Israel. So the real terrorists are really built in America. Just saying. This man spent most of his life growing up in America, who is now the active prime minister of Israel, who's actively committing genocide on the Palestinian people. And he's from Philly.
Bruh. Philly. Eagles. The Phillies. The Philadelphia Flyers. He probably got all them jerseys in his closet, y'all. He probably got all them. She said, I'd love several more cups, please. I got you, Sustainable. I got you. You want some more tea? I got you. Stand by. I got you. You want some more tea? The tea is being served. It's fresh right here. It's fresh. We got you. We got you. Here we go. Get you another bag of that Lipton Net and Yacht tea. Let's do it. Here we go. All right.
I truly cannot get over the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu's family name used to be Milikowski. His dad was born in Poland, and his dad's dad was born in what is now Belarus. No wonder they don't allow DNA testing in Israel, because if it did, they'd have to send fucking prime minister all the way back to Northern Europe, because they have no genetic or genealogical claim to what is occupied Palestine.
Nah, baby, he going back to Philly. He going back to Philly, get some of them cheesesteaks. He going back to Philly. Yeah, y'all cook him up a cheesesteak, man. Welcome him home. All right. He ain't going back to Poland. He going back to Philly.
Northern Europe, because they have no genetic or genealogical claim to what is occupied Palestine at all. At all. I hope that man wears sunscreen.
Oh, she funny. She says she hope he wears sunscreen. Where's the brotherly love, bro? She said their Khazars from European. She's correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see if I got some more tea for y'all, man. The tea's starting to run out. It's starting to run out, man. Let me see if I got a little bit more in here. See if I can pull y'all out one more bag or two, man. I don't want y'all to get thirsty on me. Hold on. Let me see what I got. Dag, y'all. I'm out of net and yacht tea, but I got some more tea for y'all. All right. I'm out of net and yacht tea, but I got some more tea for y'all, man. I got some more. See, because I want y'all to understand that, you know, this, and somebody said this in another video. It's like customary for certain individuals to change their name to hide their truest heritage. Okay. Watch this. Now, y'all, let me set it up for y'all. Let me set the table before y'all sit down and eat. Let me set the table. Do y'all remember some years ago when the guy who used to own the Los Angeles Clippers, Donald Sterling, had to give the team up? Steve Ballmer, ex-Microsoft guy, bought the team. Donald Sterling was caught with some racist chants or whatever on tape. His girlfriend at the time, she set him up. She's like, "Oh, this is what we gonna do? This who you are? You don't know I'm mixed. You don't know I'm half of what half the ethnicity you talking ish about. All right, let me show you something here. Let me do this for you." And she got him. Now I want y'all to understand something. I'm gonna play this and then I'm gonna show y'all something. Because y'all, for those of y'all that don't remember, I'm gonna show y'all this. All right, here we go. Put some more tea.
That you're associating with black people. You have to?
You associate with Black people.
I'm not you and you're not me. You're supposed to be a delicate white or a delicate Latina girl.
I'm a mixed girl.
Okay. Well, but
And you're in love with me. And I'm Black and Mexican, whether you like it or not,
Okay.
whether the world accepts it or not.
I want you to love them privately. In your whole life, every day you could be with them. Every single day of your life. But
Not in public?
But why publicize it on the Instagram and why bring it to my games?
Why bring the Black people to the game?
I really don't want to discuss anymore. It's over. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
I feel that way so strongly, and it may cause our relationship to just break apart. And if it does, it does. It's better to break apart now than to break apart later.
I'm sorry that you still have people around you that are full of racism and hate in their heart. I'm sorry that you're still racist in your heart. I'm sorry that you live in a world that's still...
How about your whole life? Every day, you could do whatever you want. You could sleep with them, you could bring them in, you could do whatever you want. The little I ask you is not to promote it on that and not to bring them to my games.
Well. He said, don't bring him to my games. He said you could do what you want to do with him. You can sleep with him if you want to. Just don't bring him to my games. Former owner of the NBA's LA Clippers, Donald Sterling. BB Netanyahu. Let's see. Let's find out. Y'all say y'all wanted some more tea, man. I ran out of the BBT, but we got some other stuff left over here from another party. Whatever. We'll make y'all a cup of this real quick. All right, let's do this. Let's get a little bit more tea there. Donald Sterling. All right, hold this. Show y'all something, man. Put y'all on some game over here. All right, Donald T. Sterling, born Donald Samuel Tokowitz, is an American attorney and businessman who was the owner of the San Diego / Los Angeles Clippers professional basketball franchise in the National Basketball Association. All right, look at this. Early life. Donald Sterling was born Donald Tokowitz on April 26, 1934 in Chicago. His family moved to the Boyle Heights area of Los Angeles when he was 2 years old. His parents, Susan and Mickey, were Ashkenazi Jewish immigrants. I'm gonna close it right there. So again, same kind of pattern you see here with what's his name? His name is We Woke Now, I think. Let me show y'all this real quick. Where is it?
This story is extraordinary.
Hang on, ad here. Where is it? Where is it, Matt? All right, I'm just going to bring this up. Y'all can watch this on your own time. I'm not going to play the video, but this is by a channel, called We Woke Now. Y'all check this brother out. And I'm going to give y'all some more references here because we getting close to the end here now. So I want y'all to see this. Check out this area right here. Look at the thumbnail. Because our name still is. Y'all check that out. That was a very interesting video I watched by We Woke Now. It's about 25 minutes long. So y'all check that out. Just use this as your search term up here. We Woke Now, Kazarian name still is whatever. That should bring this video up. Y'all check that out, man. That was a very, very interesting video. Okay. Let me stop sharing and see where I am in my notes. Okay. All right. So let me get down to the nitty gritty now because I want y'all to see something here. And we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. All right, it's been a good one. Yeah, that name change. Listen, we're in an 8 year, y'all. This is the energy of the universe. This is the energy of the ordinances that the universal I am presence put in place. running on his own divine clock and own divine timing. Everything that's happening now was destined to happen. It was going to happen. It was going to happen. So we're going to continue. We're going to work with the energy instead of working against it. Right. That's how you're supposed to do. You can't stop the weather. You just got to look at the weather report and see what it's going to be, so you know how to adjust and work with it. All right. You know you got some yard work to do, and it's going to be a 95% chance of rain and thunderstorms. You're not going to be out there working in the yard. You want to do your yard work a day in advance, right? So let's do this. All right. Where are we now? So I want to read this to y'all because this is something I came across too. This was from the 1980 Jewish Almanac. Okay. This is not the whole article. This is just a screenshot. Actually, this is from a website. The website's up here. I'll share it. But you guys, I want to show you this, and then I'm going to read something here because remember what I said. I said this in the beginning. I've been saying this all year long. If your pastor is not teaching prophecy and identity, you need to find another church because you're just going in there being entertained. Because you can do Bible study on your own. All right. You need to be being taught in this season prophecy and identity. Why prophecy, Matthew? Because prophecy is going to tell you what's coming. Why identity, Matthew? Because identity tells you who's going to get what. How does that prophecy affect you? All right. That biblical, that Bible, let me tell you something. There's still a lot of people in this day and age that are demonizing it and saying, well, it's not legit. It was written by Europeans, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell y'all something. These are my thoughts on King James, who was a brother, by the way, in case y'all didn't know, who was a brother. All right. Now, my thoughts is that the current Bible, the King James version, the one that had the Apocrypha in it before it was taken out, I think that a lot of the stuff that was translated was intentionally encoded. Okay, intentionally encoded to read a certain way so as to be sort of cryptic. So that, hey, look, we know we're losing power. We know that we've been on the run since the Spanish Inquisition, 1492. Y'all saw the thing, Moors. They love saying Moors just to hide identities. If you take it back 700 years before that, in 711 AD, when General Tariq led Moors across the Strait of Gibraltar and invaded the Iberian Peninsula, and though heavily outnumbered, defeated a king named Rodrigo, or whatever his name was, and ruled the Iberian Peninsula for another 700 years. Okay, the so-called Moors were a collection of Ishmaelites and Israelites. Okay, I want y'all to check this brother out right here. If you have never heard of him, this is the series of videos. He's done some great historical work. I'll put his name in parentheses. Y'all have to check him out, man. He's curated some excellent historical documents that trace the journey of the Israelites from the tribe of Judah from the defeat in 70 AD to being not just those that escaped south, but those who were carried captive into both Rome and Spain, which was, according to scripture, called Sepharad. All right. I don't know if that was the original name back then, but that's what's printed there now. We know that the region was Spain. Okay. This is where the term Sephardic comes from, and Sepharad and Sephardim, that comes from that land being called Sephar. Okay. I did a whole video breaking down the term Sephar and showing you how things get lost in translation. Okay. Maybe I'll do a reboot of that video one day or something, or show it on a live. But anyway, so there were already bronze-skinned Israelites in servitude on the Iberian Peninsula. All right. So when you talk about, she said, yeah, you suggested it before and I watched the entire episode. Excellent work with proof and book. Yep, exactly. And he's got a bunch of them, Hidden Hebrews, all the way through. You just got to look him up. And, I'll skip over the little church services they have because they're lengthy, and, I ain't knocking nobody, how they worship, whatever. What you do is what you do. I'll look for the documentary work he's done. It's excellent work. He got another one called Reclaiming the Throne, and I think you can watch that on Vimeo. Anyway, when you know the history, Tariq and the Moors, they were a collection of Israelites and Ishmaelites, mostly Ishmaelites, but Israelites. There's a fantastic video on YouTube where there's a dark-skinned brother who's Arab who lives in Palestine. He gives you the history. Let me see if we find that real quick, y'all, as I'm getting ready to wrap up, and then I'm gonna show y'all a couple things. I'm gonna read one more article, and then we're gonna buzz up out of here. Let me see if this shows up. You know where I can find it? Let me find my video really quick. Y'all bear with me 1 second here. All right, let's find this. I think it was called Secrets of the Desert or something like that. Palestine, Secrets of the Desert, was it? Where is it at? Is that not it? Let me see. That's it. That's it. Right there. Oh, that's the trailer. Where's the whole video? Bruh. All right, let me show y'all this 2 minute and 55 second trailer here real quick. But y'all, if y'all can find this documentary, check it out. Let me bring it up on the screen. Try to share as much information as I can, y'all, to give y'all these resources that I've been looking at going on, 8 years now? Is that right? 8 years? 6 years? Maybe 6 years. Here we go. All right.
I chose Wix for my business because of its massive scope for functionality and freedom.
All right, this is the trailer. Y'all check it out. Make sure y'all can see it.
There's two tribes here was. The Tarabini tribe from this side, and for opposite there, Azazma tribe.
Y'all, this is what the Arabs look like that invaded the Iberian Peninsula.
My father was here. My grandfather was here. My mother.
This is what the Arabs look like that invaded the Iberian Peninsula in 711 AD. That's what they look like.
My father was here. My grandfather was here. My mother was, when she was young, she was here. This was the fullness of life. You see that wheel? Everybody, every tribe come here. This place call it Bir Malaka. Malaki Bir. All the Bedouin in this area. There's many of them. They don't have no water in this area. This one they have the water. The water is coming from the ground. They can't finish. Son of my grandfather is here for a long time, for maybe 500 or 600 years. It's very important for every person or every community, to belong to the land. When, the Israeli came here, the British, Balfour promised. And Balfour promised to give the Israeli, the Jewish people a state. They make the border here. You say my land, I have a document. They say, okay, you have a document, this is your land, but it's not to live, not to make anything with this land. And all the army was here. The Turkish army, the Israeli army then. Okay, the Egyptian, they was on that side.
During this war?
Yeah, this is in 1948.
Is this during the time that when all the tribes had to scatter to Jordan and different places?
Yeah. Today, the Israeli, they come here, they want to give you money to sell my grandfather. If I sell you this land here, I tell them.
He already said, the Israelis come here to give you money to send my guys further. That's what he said. Let me take it back.
The tribes had to scatter to Jordan and different places?
Yeah. Today, the Israeli, they come here, they want to give you money to sell my grandfather. If I sell you this land here, I tell them, sell my grandfather. I sell my blood. I sell my remember. I sell who I am.
If y'all family, if y'all get a chance to see that documentary, just check that out. Y'all see my search term up there. Palestine. It's called Ancient Palestine: Secrets of the Desert. Okay. I saw the whole documentary here on YouTube some years ago, but of course you can't see the whole one here now anymore. Wonder why. Anyway. So that is what the Arabs that invaded the Iberian Peninsula in 711 looked like. Arab. I did a whole video showing you the Hebrew, ancient Hebrew etymology of the word Arab, which means dark. It means dark. The original etymology. If y'all want to see that video, y'all can check that out. Let me see what the title of that one is. It's on my channel. Hang on one sec. I'll just tell you what the title of it is. Okay, the title is, let me bring up the screen and y'all can just see it. This is wrap up time here, y'all. I'm getting ready to wrap this up. All right, right here at the top. What did ancient Arabs look like? This common Hebrew phrase tells the story. Okay, this video is, how long is this video? 9 minutes. No? Yes. 9 minutes, 12 seconds. So y'all can check that out. I'm not going to play it tonight because I want to get ready to wrap it up. But if y'all want to see it, y'all leave it in the comments. Let me know. I'll do it in another live. We'll just do a viewing party and watch it and talk about it. Okay, so that was called "What Did the Ancient Arabs Look Like?" This common Hebrew phrase tells the story. All right, y'all check that out. Give me some more views on that. All right, so let me stop sharing that, and we're coming up down toward the end here on the back stretch. So let me see. Ancient. I was showing y'all this article on the screen here. Revelations, y'all. Revelations. That's the time we're in right now. Secrets being revealed. This is from the 1980 Jewish Almanac. Okay, identity. The title is Identity Crisis: A Brief History of the Term for a Jew. Because I often wondered, y'all, why they never called themselves. Why they were never called Israelites. Why they called Israelis and not Israelites, and why they were called Jewish and don't necessarily refer to themselves as Hebrew. I've always wondered that. And then I saw this. And actually, the first place I saw this was, I think I saw this on and I don't follow him anymore. I'm not going to get into why it's personal reading, whatever. I don't follow Ron anymore, but I saw this on one of his early videos back when he was promoting his first movie before it was released. And I found it fascinating. So I looked this up. This was very difficult to find now. They're scrubbing the internet so good, y'all. It's hard to find some of this old stuff. But anyway, this is and you can buy this almanac from Amazon or some other. You can buy PDFs of it from like archive.org or something like that. But anyway, let me read this. Strictly, some of y'all probably already read it. A brief history of the terms for Jew. Strictly speaking, it is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew or to call a contemporary Jew an Israelite or a Hebrew. The first Hebrews may not have been Jews at all, and contemporary Palestinians, by their own definition of the term Palestinian, have to include Jews among their own people, although in choosing the name Palestine for their homeland, they have picked a name that originally signified the opposite, an enclave of foreigners. I'm not sure that is completely accurate. I'm not saying it's completely inaccurate, but I do understand the history of how the term Palestine came into use. And that had everything to do with the Romans tiring of fighting these skirmishes after 70 AD, where Israelites were coming back and trying to take their land back or trying to come back and squat on it. And the Romans were like, listen, we need to hide this from Psalms 83. We need to hide this from future generations. So let's change the name from the Judean province, which it wouldn't have been Judean, it would have been something else that with no J in it. But let's change the name from the Judean province to Syria, Palestina. Syria, Palestina. So that was the original name, but it also kind of gives a little bit of light to the ancient Philistines, who we know to be the Dogon people in Africa right now. Okay. That's scriptural. Look up the Dogon people and who they worship, and you'll see the similarities between that and scriptural stories. The history is there. It's just hidden. Okay. The receipts are there. You just got to dig to find them. Okay. So now, anyway, a Zionist in the strict sense is not an expansionist. The original Zion was only a single hill in, and the rest of this gets cut off. But anyway, preferred term is Bnei Yisrael, children of Israel or Israelites. A similar usage of Hebrew is found in the stories of the interaction between Israelites and Philistines in 1 Samuel, and an interaction of Abraham with Canaanites and other non-Israelites in Genesis 14. All right, so I'm gonna leave off of that, but I just found that interesting. If you want to read that, you can download that PDF, I believe, from archive.org. I didn't want to deal with the whole PDF tonight because that was the part that stuck out that I remember from the video. All right, so now I'm going to move from there to one final article that gives my thoughts, because we're talking about, again, prophecy and identity. Now, there's something significant before I bring this next article up. There's something that is very significant with the story and the narrative. This is why I titled this video. Thank you if you stayed this long. This is why I titled this video, Has Israel Lost Control of the Narrative? The narrative of the reasoning behind the modern day Israeli society, if you will, and their claim to the land has to deal with them claiming that they are the people who lived there 3,000 years ago. Okay. I've seen a number of, and it just hit me now. I need to show y'all this bonus video because I'll forget it and then I won't show it. Let me show y'all this bonus video real quick, y'all. Where is it? Matt, you just had this on the screen. Where is it? Hang on, y'all. This is why, y'all. This that Mercury and Sagittarius. We move from one thing to the next. All right, so let's deal with this one. Oh, let's see. This might be a little bit different here. I saw this earlier. Let me bring this up, y'all. Let me bring this up. So a little bit more BBT. For those of y'all, we found one more bag of BBT. So here we go. Now, y'all know that let me set it up before I bring this up. I watched a bunch of Scott Ritter videos a couple of weeks ago, and a bunch of guys that are ex-military, whatever, ex-three-letter gang analysts and all of this stuff that were giving you the skinny on what was happening in the Middle East and in Israel particular when this whole Iran thing jumped off. Okay. And one of the things I learned, I didn't know any of this. Again, this is why you got to look for alternative sources outside of the mainstream media. But apparently the guy that's been pushing BB's BB Philly, the guy's been pushing Philly BB's buttons there in Israel and trying to get him to pushing him hard to go and finish off this Gaza stuff is the war cabinet minister, some guy named Ben Gavir or something. And the word on the street is BB's intimidated by this guy, whatever. I don't know what kind of pull, what kind of juice. I don't get into politics, y'all. I listen to what people tell me. I listen to what I see, what I hear, whatever. But I don't know what kind of juice the guy got, but apparently the dude got juice because BB like do what he say do, basically. Now, his car got overturned in an accident. I'm gonna show y'all this video, and I'm like, yo, man, if this ain't some freaking TV spy drama, Homeland on Showtime or Fox's old 24 with Jack Bauer series stuff, I don't know what it is. It's crazy watching what's happening in the world, y'all. Here it is. All right, let me find a good one. Hang on, one is not too long here. Let me see. 7 hours ago. All right, this is from the Telegraph. You know what? Let me find one that's in English. Y'all. Hang on. Let me do this. I don't want a big long one. Let me see. This is from. Okay, so this is just video.
أريد إعدامه. أريد إعدامه.
No, I don't want that one. Let me get a better one. Let me see this one. Now, let me ask y'all this real quick. Do you flip when you hit somebody, or do you flip when you get hit? Just asking for a friend. All right, that's enough of that. Let me now and scrolling and looking for this and scrolling, I found another interesting this was interesting. Is this title says Israeli protesters attack Netanyahu minister Ben Gvir's car and demand a release of hostages.
Desperate and hungry Palestinians are running out of options. We don't care about death.
I don't know if it's the same one. Hang on. Oh, this clickbait. Never mind. That's clickbait. Never mind. Oh, wait, is this video? Hold on. He got hit. I told you, man. I told you, you don't get hit running into somebody. You don't flip running into somebody. You flip when you get hit. Yo, man, that almost looked timed, man. Hang on, bruh. That almost looked timed. Y'all look at that again. Hold up. Yo, man. Yo, that's crazy. That almost looked timed. So you saw the report. The report said he ran a red light and hit somebody and overturned. Yo, man. Yo, y'all better know what's happening, man. Y'all better know what's happening. Yo, it's crazy. I ain't gonna put no narrative. I ain't gonna put no spin on that. Y'all make that up. Y'all deal with that on your own. I ain't putting no spin on that one. Y'all deal with that one on your own, man. Yo, that's crazy. I didn't even have that in my notes for the night, y'all. I did not even have that in my notes. But it sounded like somebody trying to get some pressure off of them, yo. Somebody trying to get some pressure off of them. Because he sounded like somebody really don't want to do what he being pushed to do. But it's like, if you don't do this, you ain't getting reelected. And if you don't get reelected, you going to jail. So somebody caught between a rock and a hard place. I said I wasn't going to put no spin on it. Yo, one more thing, baby. We getting out of here. One more thing. All right. This is the last one. This is the end of my notes here. So I got to put this up here. Yo, that was sick, yo. Here we go. All right. Talking about identity. Okay, here we go. So again, before I got into this, what I was saying was the narrative. Has Israel lost control of the narrative? The narrative is we have a biblical and historical right to this land. This is our ancient homeland. Our ancestors were here. Abraham was our forefather. Isaac was our forefather. Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, is our forefather. King David was our forefather. All of this stuff. All right. Okay. All right. Well, let me. So now, those of you, let's say for argument's sake, that's true. When you look now, somebody said this earlier in the chat comments, and it's very true. It says they don't match the curses of Deuteronomy 28. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm sure they got rabbis and scholars working on a comeback for that or whatever. I'm gonna leave that alone. We're gonna deal with something else. Facts, okay? When you read the Bible and study it, at least as much as I have growing up as a little boy, the thing that you see repeated over and over again is that the Israelites never had any allies. They never had another nation come to their aid, okay? The Israelites always stood on their own because having the Most High in your camp is all you really need. You don't need another nation when he who controls the elements is fighting for you. And he who has put righteous priests, high priests and priestesses, I know y'all don't want to hear about that, but you had high priests and high priestesses. I know y'all don't want to hear about that, but spiritual power is more amplified in women than it is in men. I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear about that, okay? But that is more of the masculine dominant presentation of religion, which is not spirituality, okay? The two very seldom, if ever, intersect, all right? Anyway, that's a story for another day. So we know that the ancient Israelites never had any allies. If they were wicked, if they were in some wicked on some wicked, we don't care. We're not following the instructions that were given to us to prosper us. We ain't gonna follow them instructions. Then they were allowed to fall into the hands of their enemies and go into servitude. When they were high vibrational and living in accordance with universal law and natural law. Later for all of this religious rights and all of this stuff, because everything boils down to universal law and natural law. If your religion, if your government laws or whatever are out of alignment with universal law and natural law, then they're out of alignment with the Most High, with the universal I am presence. So getting back to the ancient Israelites and the claim to the land being, well, we're the ancient Israelites never had any allies. Does modern Israel stand alone? Have they ever stood alone? Dating back to, first of all, you're put there via a Balfour Declaration. Look, I don't want to keep saying this stuff over and over again, y'all, but this whole, if there's no World War I, then the Ottoman Turks continue to hold that land, and there's no quote unquote Jewish/Palestinian conflict or Israeli/Palestinian conflict. Why? Because the Ottoman Turks still run it. All right. If there's no World War II, then wherever all of the Jewish people who were living in Europe were living, if there's no World War II, they don't get bombed out of their homes, and then there's no reason to go and move to a new land. When your whole city gets destroyed by Allied bombing, you got no where you gonna go when the war's over? How long is it gonna take to rebuild Europe? What you gonna do while they're rebuilding it? So they had to have somewhere to go. If there's no World War II, then there's no. Y'all see, y'all put this stuff together, man. Put the numbers together. Put them together. All right, this stuff is basic math. Now, the ancient Israelites never had any allies. It was always them and the Most High God Himself. All right, let's go here. Last article, y'all. I know I went way longer than I wanted to tonight, but sometimes it happens that way. I haven't done a live, and I haven't done one in 2 weeks, so this is the first time. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me bring this up for y'all, and then we're gonna bounce after this. She said, "Sounds like a plot." Absolutely does. Absolutely. All right. This I wrote in 2020. So this is this article is almost 4 years old. It's about 3.5 years old. What is it with me in October with writing? I don't know what that is. Anyway, the transatlantic slave trade. Why nobody came for us. Okay. Let me zoom this in. Make sure y'all can see it, the print, because it's kind of small. The transatlantic slave trade. Why nobody came for us. The explanation for the title of this article is a photo credit is the National Endowment for the Humanities. So I got a photo credit there. Now, the explanation for the title of this article is so simple that by the end of it, some of you reading may wonder why I even wrote it, but I'll carry on anyway. What happens when citizens of countries are kidnapped by foreigners? What happens when a nation's warriors are taken as POWs? To answer that, let us use for an example the Iran hostage crisis, where for nearly 15 months from November 1979 to January 1981, 52 American diplomats and citizens were held captive in Iran. Without going into an exhaustive history of the standoff, suffice it to say that the U.S. government worked tirelessly to bring home its citizens being held hostage. The same holds true when so-called Eastern extremist groups kidnap and hold citizens hostage. All right, y'all, it's getting late. My eyes are playing tricks on me. The same holds true when so-called Eastern extremist groups kidnap and hold hostage citizens or service members of Western countries for political reasons. What we see in the movies and often in the news is that these extremists often hold those persons captive for the purpose of prisoner exchange so that they can bring home their imprisoned fellow fighters. Yet, when we examine the plight of the so-called Negro / Afro-American / Afro-Caribbean / Afro-Brazilian, etc., one of the first things that jumps off the pages of history is that no nation's military came to rescue them. No diplomat or politician came to plead for their safe return. Why was that so? To answer the why, you must first understand that the so-called Negro / Afro-American, etc., is not who or what he was labeled as by his European conquerors. When you understand that the so-called black man, in quotes, in the Western Hemisphere is actually the offspring of the ancient tribes of Judah and Israel, the answer starts to come into clearer view. Nobody came to rescue the Israelite because throughout history, the Israelite has had no allies. It does not take a biblical scholar or a Bible scholar to read and recognize that throughout their history, the only allies the Israelite ever had was the Most High himself and each other. When throughout their history they would walk upright before him, he would deliver Israel's enemies into their hands every single time. The Israelite, by the numbers, went into every battle as a heavy underdog and would typically rout their enemies quickly. Again, though, this only happened when they lived in a state of righteous accordance with the will of the Most High. On the other hand, when they would live wickedly and walk in defiance to the covenant made between Yahweh and Abraham, he would allow them to fall into the hands of their invaders, but only for a time, which leads us to 70 AD and the destruction of Jerusalem. 70 AD represented the last year that the Israelite, Judite, Yahudim would govern himself. Well, sort of, if you take into account that Rome had made Judea a protectorate and thenceforth dictated government operations and demanded taxes be collected and paid to them regularly. In 66 AD, after being weary of Roman rule, the Hebrews revolted, which led to a bilateral armed conflict, a bloody civil war between Roman sympathizers and those who rejected their rule, and a simultaneous military response from Rome. That bilateral conflict would lead to the eventual fall and destruction of the capital city and the subsequent slaughter, mass exile, and enslavement of the survivors of a months-long starvation and the final bloody massacre. Nearly 7 centuries later, the scattered Hebrews would join forces with their ancient cousins, the Ishmaelites, and would conquer the Iberian Peninsula, bringing civilization and modernization to Europe. Note, we know that history called these soldiers, engineers, mathematicians, scientists, writers, architects, and artists, the Moors, but we also know that the winner of any major conflict also enjoys the privilege of telling the story, or winners of any major conflict also enjoy the privilege of telling the story as they see fit. I digress, though. Facts are facts. The word Moors was a clever European wrapper for the sons of Ishmael and the sons of Jacob, who left many a mark on the world to this day, not the least of which is the numerical system used on every continent, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, also known as Arabic numerals, a system which replaced the cumbersome Roman numerals that are still in limited use today. Alas, not only is 1492 the year that history teaches us that Columbus discovered America, and I put that in quotes, was he really looking for a new spice route, or was there a more nefarious reason for his mission to the Americas? Why did he have a Hebrew-speaking Negro travel with him to serve as a translator? But January 1492 also marked the end of Moorish rule in the Iberian Peninsula. Note, by this time, the Spanish Inquisition, an edict enacted to force Hebrews to convert to Roman Catholicism on fear of torture, death, or exile, was already into its 13th year. See video reference below, and it looks like that video was removed. The mass exile of Iberian Hebrews, many of whom were the descendants of those who were driven out of Jerusalem and Greater Judah some 14 centuries before, would mark the end of military protection of the Israelites from the tribe of Judah. From Spain, they were expelled to Portugal, and from Portugal to various areas of West Africa, many of which had living conditions that were so hostile, both due to poor soil conditions and warmongering indigenous neighbors, it is a wonder they survived. So when we fast forward to the transatlantic slave trade, we must revisit the original question. Why didn't anyone come to the rescue of the people of the broken tribe of Judah, whom history has labeled African slaves? The answer is the only people who would have come for them was them. They simply had no allies. They never had any. Not only that, but no longer had a homeland of their own. Not only that, they no longer had a homeland of their own and had in fact been living in exile from theirs for some 16 centuries. But the answer for why nobody came for them even predates the 70 AD fall of Jerusalem. The Israelites were a peculiar people chosen by the Most High himself and set apart from all nations of the earth. They are a people whose only military allies, aside from the Most High himself and his angels, have been their brothers, the other sons of Jacob. The ancient Israelites never made any alliances with any nations outside their own tribes, and that in accordance with the commandment of their God, Yahweh. See scripture references at the end of this article. In fact, the first time they made a formal alliance treaty for protection was with the Romans, and it would prove to be their last. Read 1 Maccabees chapter 8 in the Apocrypha. Here's a quote. Regarding their treaty with the Romans, didn't Yahweh warn them in accordance with Exodus 34:12 that such covenants would prove to be a snare to them? Oh well, by this, along with a plethora of other examples, we know that his word cannot return empty. There is one time in their history that an actual emissary did come to plead for their release. His name was Moses. In this special case, Moses was the emissary and the Most High himself was the military, who secured their rescue. After their rescue was secured, the Most High, Yahweh, through his servant Moses, gave the Israelites a set of conditional promises. Adherence to his statutes and commandments would see them in a perpetual state of peace, security, and prosperity. Non-adherence would see them broken, destroyed, though not utterly, and back in captivity and servitude until a distant time. Read Deuteronomy 28 and 45 through 46. So in conclusion, and here is a YouTube link to a video I did a long time ago titled Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26, a study of history, not theology. Okay, y'all can watch that on YouTube. So in conclusion, this was a drive all the way around the block to get you to the house next door. I often do that in both writing and lecture to drive home a point, pun intended. The simple answer to the question of why nobody came for Judah when the tribe was being sold into captivity via the transatlantic slave trade is that their heavenly ally had turned his face away from them. And they, though being the strongest of the 12 tribes, had neither an ally under the heavens who would rescue them, nor had any might in their hand to free themselves or their offspring. Deuteronomy 38 and 22. Deuteronomy 28 and 32. And besides, where would they have returned to had they been able to free themselves from the chains of British, Americans, and Portuguese in the Americas? Thanks for reading. Okay, and the scripture references at the end are Exodus 23 and 30 through 32, Exodus 34 and 11 through 12, Deuteronomy 23 and 3 through 6, and Ezra 9 and 12, and then 14. Okay, Ezra 9, chapter 9, verses 12 and 14. So that is it, family. Let me see here. Let me read some comments and then I'll give you some final thoughts and we'll wrap this up. She said, facts, only the 5 books are read every year, nothing else. So most are not taught history. The other books, 1% read it. I lived it. History is word of mouth. Powerful comment, Tora Girl. Thank you for adding that. So anyway, that is a key biblical comparison of the ancient Israelites and Shemites versus modern day Semitic people. The ancient Israelites, aka / Shemites, had no allies. They had none. It was just themselves. Okay. And there's a ton of other prophetic verses that I've read in other videos, and I'll probably read them again in other videos that have to deal with how the Israelites get back home. And 1948 wasn't it. It wasn't it. It wasn't it. So let's go back to Jeremiah 16 and 19, which says, O Lord, my strength, my fortress, and my refuge. In the day of affliction, the Gentiles will come into you from the ends of the earth and say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Final thoughts. My final thoughts are these, family. The same energetic cauldron that existed in 1st century AD prior to the bilateral war with themselves and the Romans. This is the same energetic cauldron that existed in the 1st century AD on that soil. It's the same cauldron. It's ready to blow, y'all. It is. It's the same energy. And this is a reflection. I'd like to reflect for a moment on a video that I published last year comparing the land of Israel to the coveted ring in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Y'all check that out. Check that video out, and then check out. Sorry, I just kicked my light there. And also check out Lord of the Rings. If y'all have not seen Lord of the Rings, I did a whole video covering parallels between the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the modern day Middle East. It's like that land over there is. It's like it is the same energy of the ring in Lord of the Rings. Whenever whoever held that ring, people were after them to try to get it away from them. Like, no, that's mine. My precious. For those of y'all that saw it. Okay, that was Smeagol. Always talking about, oh, Smeagol wants his precious. I shouldn't do that. It hurts my throat. But anyway, anybody who did not have the ring wanted it. And those who had the ring did not want to give it up. They did not want to give it up. So there's some similarities there, but I'm telling y'all the land is alive. And what I think is coming next, I think we're going to see a steady progression to that prophecy in the book of Baruch, which is in the Apocrypha, that pretty much says the land spoke and said she would put off the clothing of peace until her children are returned. That land has not been at peace since what is called the Jewish Wars, but we know the war between Judah and Rome that lasted from 66 AD to 70 AD, with the final skirmish being put down in 73 AD at the siege of Masada. Okay. That land has not seen peace. It has not seen peace. Maybe there have been pockets of peace, but never have we seen 100 years, a century of peace there. I don't think we've seen 50 years of peace in that land since the original Israelites were driven out. So, my thoughts are these. I think that we're going to see a steady progression and steady escalation of conflict there until the original inhabitants are returned. And that is going to rub some people the wrong way. But and again, I hold nothing against anybody who was lied to. Lies damage two groups. Lies damage the people who are on the receiving end of the lie. In other words, the people who are being lied to, the lie damages them. But in the end, the lie damages the person who told it. That's universal law. It's almost like Proverbs 26 and 27. Whoso diggeth the pit shall fall therein. When you tell a lie, that lie is eventually going to come back and burn you. That's why you got to stay high vibrational and just walk in truth. Just walk in truth. So I think that what's going to happen next again is that we're going to see more and more conflict there, because the land does not obviously, and listen, maybe I speak for the land when I say this. If you're not at peace, and the scripture said, I will put off the clothing of peace until my children are returned, then that land don't want you want it. It doesn't. And for those who say that, that desert barren place is not where God's people originally were, y'all have to understand something, man. Look, and people are saying that, it's in the United States here and this, that, and the third. And I hear that. I don't like to get in arguments and scuffles with my brothers over stuff like that. But listen, I just ask y'all to use a little bit of common sense. Joel chapter 3 says, my children have you sold to the Grecians, or the children of Jerusalem and the children of Judah, or something like that, have you sold to the Grecians so that you can remove them far from their border. If this is the original establishment of the true biblical land of Israel, then we're not far from our borders. So that would make that scripture text false. Okay. Yeah. So that there's that. But there was another point I wanted to make, but it's escaping me now. It's probably because it's getting late. But the truth of the matter is that, hell, America ain't at peace either. Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of prophecy that is yet to be fulfilled. But the truth is, again, you can't hold against anybody who was brought up in the lie. Now, when you know the truth and you're refusing to accept it and you still want to push the lie, then judgment falls on you. Judgment falls on you. But how can judgment fall on you when you're acting underneath the influence of a lie that was told, not knowing the truth? But when the truth is available for you to know it and you choose to reject it anyway, you got to get dealt with. So there's a lot of irony going on in that land. There's a lot of just instability. And I think that what we're going to see, this is a bold prediction, but I think what we're going to see is a replay of what we saw in a sense, in 1950 some odd years ago in the land of Israel, where they had become so corrupt that they started fighting and killing each other, and then still had to fight the Romans on top of that. What does they say? What goes around comes around. What's that other saying? You lose it the same way you got it. I think that I'm not gonna go too far into what I think, but yeah, that's what I see happening. And if you've read the Wars of the Jews, you know how freaking crazy those ancient Yahudim were during that siege of Jerusalem. They weren't letting anybody leave the city. Anybody who attempted to leave, these crazy individuals, these crazy zealots were like, you ain't leaving the city. We need you here to fight the Romans. So even non-combatants weren't allowed to leave the city, and they would hold them in the city on the threat of death. So people were, could that happen again? Could freaking BB Lipton tea, whatever, lose his mind? And if the proverbial ish really hits the fan over there, could he lose his mind like they did in the ancient times and say, nah, nobody leaves? Because think about it. If you're not someone who is from the diaspora and you actually were born and raised in Israel, you're a soldier, because everybody who lives there has to do 2 years in the military. So could he potentially, if the ish hits the fan and God forbid there's an invasion or whatever, could he be like, nah, ain't nobody leaving? I don't see why he wouldn't say that. That same thing happened in ancient Israel. And it's like people get blinded by the greed. There's something energetic about that land. Y'all go watch my video on why is the Middle East the most fought over piece of territory since the beginning of time. There is some energy about that land that when you are high vibrational, the land accepts you and she gives you her fruit. When you are low vibrational, the land rejects you and you're removed from it. And low vibrational, how, Matt? Well, I told you I had this conversation with somebody earlier. Matt, why are you not religious? It's real simple. I abide by I co-sign, what's the word I'm looking for? I vibe with, let me say that. I vibe with universal law and natural law. Anything outside of that, I don't want to hear it. Like, listen, if you're abiding by universal law and universal laws, which can never be broken, by the way, and natural law, which you can break natural law, you can violate natural law, but there are consequences to it. When you violate natural law, nature turns on you. Nature turns on you. Nature calls you out. So when you are vibing and operating in the energy of alignment with universal law and natural law, you don't need religion. You don't need somebody telling you this is who God is. You know for yourself. I've said this a number of times, y'all, in different videos. The Messiah said, he said, the kingdom of God is within. Why are you looking outside of you? Okay. The prophet Jeremiah said, he spoke the words of the Most High. He said, no more will any man have to tell his neighbor or his brother, know the Lord, for you all know me from least to greatest. He said, I'm going to write my laws in your inward, my laws and my statutes in your inward parts. So to get to God, you got to go within. You're not going to find God per se in the church house. You might experience some high vibrational energy. You might get some good word. And that's a big might nowadays, because church anymore, in a lot of these churches feels like a motivational speaker. Feels like you're at a conference or something. So, yeah, man, I just think that if you're in adherence with, if you subscribe to, if you vibe with universal law and natural law, you good. You good. You don't need some so-called laws, which are really instructions. You don't need them because you're going to do them. The Messiah made it so simple. He said, forget all them other laws. I'm going to give you 2 to summarize everything. If you do these 2, you're good. Love God, source, the Most High, the divine, the universal I am presence, the spirit of truth, whatever moniker you want to use. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and keep his commandments, or instructions, rather. Because if he gives you a command, anything that proceeds from the mouth of the Most High, that is a commandment, is done. So that's why I don't even like the biblical term, English translation of the word commandment, because it's not a commandment, because whatever God commands is so. If you got a choice, it's not a commandment. It's an instruction. So love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and keep his instructions, and then love your neighbor as yourself. If you don't want somebody doing something to you, then don't do it. Me and my dad were laughing talking about that today. I said, Dad, ain't it funny how a thief don't want you stealing nothing from him? Ain't it funny how a liar wants to be told the truth? A liar don't even like a lie. That's funny. But it's so simple. The Messiah taught spiritual principles, not religious. That's a spiritual principle. If you don't want somebody doing something to you, don't do it to them. Do unto others what you want done to you. That's love. Show love and you'll receive love. And on that note, let me read some comments and I'm going to wrap it up, y'all. Let's see. Let me go back. Y'all make me laugh, man. Y'all make me laugh. She said, TikTok, I see why they want it gone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tour Girl said, I did see that in Wikipedia. Sustainable Farmer said, I'd love several more cups, please. That's funny. Sustainable, we're out. We got to shut the store down. We just ran out. We served that last glass, okay? Tour Girl said, wait, shut up. LOL. Yeah. Yeah, how about that? Where's the brotherly love, bro? Yeah, yo, Philly. Yo, man, come back. Philly might welcome you back, man. I don't know. You might be able to get a coaching job in NFL, right? It's always a coaching carousel. Anyway, they are Khazars, Europeans. She is correct. None of them have blood ties to the lands. That is coming out more and more. Y'all get on TikTok before they completely wipe it out. A lot of this truth is being spit on TikTok. And hats off to the people on YouTube that carefully craft their messages so that they're not hammered down, man. It's crazy. No free speech in this country anymore. Was there ever free speech? Anyway, darn, the name change. Not only did they steal the names, they stole the birthrights. Yeah, yo, I told y'all, Tamaria, I told y'all, this is a reverse of what Jacob did. What Jacob did to Esau. Esau learned from Jacob. Esau learned from Jacob. Let me share this nugget with y'all real quick. Jacob's name, the whole Rebecca story. Hey, what's this rumbling going on in my stomach? Oh, you got two nations at war with you in your there are two nations in your womb that are at war. Okay. So scripture said, what did the Most High say? He said, for Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. He knew them before they arrived on the planet Earth. He knew them before they were injected into the womb. Okay. Don't somebody take that and run that the wrong way. All right. Okay. Let's keep it high vibe. Let's keep it not nasty. Because nasty's high vibe sometimes too, right? Matt, oh, my mother would smack me. Let me keep going. Let me keep going. So anyway, two nations at war in the belly. Okay. Why were they at war? Maybe at the soul level, they understood that in the realm they were coming to, that the firstborn gets all the juice. So perhaps it is Esau overpowered Jacob in the womb to come out first. Like, ha, 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 I got it now. But the truth is, Jacob didn't really steal the birthright from Esau. Esau tried to steal it from him by being born first. Esau tried to steal the blessing and the birthright by being born first. So he came out first with Jacob holding his heel. But what did the Most High said? The Most High said, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. So guess what? The Most High had already reserved it for Jacob anyway. So the name Jacob had to be given to him. Why? Because Jacob means supplanter, one who supplants, or trickster. So by him constantly being called and answering to Jacob, growing up, he operated in that energy of being a trickster. Why? Because he would need that energy later to trick his brother and get the birthright back to him that was already due to him. This is why after he got it, you see the next major thing that happens in his life is he's wrestling with his angel. And after the wrestling match, the all night long wrestling match, which to me proved that he was a divine being in flesh form, because how you going to wrestle with a divine being and the fight not end quickly unless you're a divine being yourself? But that's a story for another day. After that wrestling match where the angel had to foul him to get him off, his name was changed to Israel. Why? Because he no longer needed, the Most High no longer wanted him to operate in the energy of a trickster. So his name was changed to Israel. With the name change came a change in his vibrational frequency. Names hold frequencies. I just showed y'all that. A little bit earlier in this video. So that is the whole thing with the stealing of the birthright. Now, what happened? Jacob used that trickster energy to trick Esau. When by the time Esau realized what happened, it was too late. So what did Esau do? He learned from his brother. He said, if that trickery worked for him to take something from me, I'm going to trick the world to take something from him. And that is why Esau has dominated for so long. Okay? That's why Esau has dominated for so long. But lo and behold, 2nd Esdras chapter 6. Y'all go read that. 2nd Esdras chapter 6. Let me type down in the comments. It's in the Apocrypha. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of the world that follows. This is the end. All of the trickery that Esau did for so long, the time is up. The time is up. Jacob is getting ready to run the show. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So I wanted to touch on that, Tamaria. Thank you for posting that, because that probably needed to come out. Like I said, stuff comes up so it can come out. Toro said, yeah, you suggested it before and I watched the entire episode. Excellent work with proofing books. Yep. Sounds like a plot. Facts. Only the books. Yeah, we read that part. Awesome show. Thanks, Matt. Thank you. Thank you, Hotshot. Thank you. Thank you for being such an inspiration, and thank you for being a regular on the channel. Tora Girl said, thanks for the teaching. Missed meeting weekly. Yeah, I know, Tora Girl. Again, I said it earlier. If I don't get that inspiration, I don't produce anything like this. Now, I got some stuff in notes that I can't do. In fact, I'm gonna hit y'all off with some funny stories from the ER. When I say funny, I don't mean funny like haha funny. I mean like ooh funny. I got some stories from my days working in the ER that I'm gonna share with y'all. Spiritual before I know anything about spirituality. Very interesting. So I'm looking forward to sharing those with you guys. Let's see. You and your feeling said, was that a scripture about it not seeing peace until the original people return? If so, what was that again? That was let me bring it up real quick. Nope, that's not it. KJVA. Search. Great question. Let me open that. That is in later. Thank y'all for staying the whole time, man. Wow. Thank y'all. This was y'all know my intent is never to be long. It just happens. Let's see. Okay, let's go to 4. Okay, Baruch chapter 4. Baruch chapter 4. Let me show it to you real quick. So this is to you and your feelings. Baruch chapter 4. Right here. Let's see. Baruch chapter 4, verse 20. I have put off the clothing of peace and put upon me the sackcloth of my prayer. I will cry unto the everlasting in my days. You got to read the whole chapter to get the context. But it's Baruch chapter 4. Okay? And let me put that in the comments here. So check that one out. It's an apocryphal book. You and your feelings, Baruch chapter 4, and that'll give you the context of that. And Sustainable Farming said this was powerful. Thank you. Thank you, Sustainable Farming. Thank you to everyone who stayed on this long. Again, my intent was not to go this long, but I thank you guys for being here. Sharon said, Auntie Sharon said, sort it like the reason we, the chosen people, were renamed. There is power in names. Matthew, there is power. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sharon. Man, I think I think some of y'all sometimes be trying to Barbara Walters me, man. Like, let me tell you something, man. At the age I'm at now, it's funny. I would look back at my parents when I was younger, and I would see them getting teary-eyed with different things. Like, I remember the first time I saw my parents like crying about something that was like not nowhere around them, and we were watching a Dr. King documentary. And when they got, and this is on our black and white television when I was a kid, and the old TVs where you had to turn them with the dial. And my dad, I looked up, and back then we turn all the lights off while we're watching the TV. Some people still do that. And I heard sniffing, and I'm sitting on the floor, and I turn around, and I look, and my dad's eyes are watering. And then I look over my mom, she crying, and I was like, "Why are you crying?" Like I didn't understand emotion like that back then, but it's like now, man, it's like you keep living, you go through certain experiences, man, and they just kind of they break that barrier down a little bit and allow you to feel emotion perhaps where you couldn't feel it when you were younger. And now, man, y'all show me so much love, man. Sometimes it catches me off guard, and I'm like, all right, Matt, let me joke my way out of showing any emotion and getting, teary-eyed or whatever. But it's like it's becoming increasingly difficult the older you get. And I shouldn't say older, the more mature you get. All right, let me say that the right way. The more mature you get, it's like it becomes increasingly difficult to hold back the emotions. But I don't know. What do I know? So anyway, thank you, Auntie Sharon, for saying that. And you and your feelings said, can you give your opinion on Book of Enoch in the future? What are your thoughts on it and how it ties to the Bible? You know what? I'm going to do a refresher on it. I read the Book of Enoch some years ago, and I need to get caught up on it. I just had a conversation with a friend of mine recently about the Book of Enoch, and they had just read it. So I'm like, okay, they're a little bit fresher on this than me. Let me do a refresher. So thank you for saying that. I will definitely get into that again. I will tell you there was one part I did not like, but it's written, and that was the part where they started naming the names of the fallen angels, and I was like, you know what? These are not names I want to remember. They're not names I want to recall. So I'll probably not get into that part of it, but the rest of it is it gives you the mechanisms of how the earth works, man, and how the whole everything they tell us about where the wind comes from and all of that. It's like Enoch was taken up into the spirit and shown like the blueprint, the diagram, showing the machinery. This is how this stuff works. This is where the wind comes from. This is why it turns cold and then turns warm, and this is why you have the seasons. It was fascinating. So I am going to do a refresher on it. Thank you. That gives me some content. So I'll definitely at some point in the near future do a breakdown of the Book of Enoch. I don't know if that will be an on-demand video or live. I tend to like to save the longer ones for the lives. Just because when the longer the video is when you're doing it on demand, it's almost like for every 10 minutes of video you do, it's almost like it takes 20 to 25 minutes to edit it. It's just kind of crazy. It's almost double the time. So it takes a lot longer to edit it if it's a long video for on demand. And then on top of that, it takes up space like gigabytes. So it'll probably, depending on how long it is, the breakdown, and y'all know me, concise ain't necessarily a strong point for me necessarily, but I do have a nice concise book that I'm finishing up here. The book's already written. I'm just working with my production team to get it out. So I can't be concise sometimes, but anyway, yeah, we'll do it. We'll definitely do that. You and your feelings. So thank you. Listen, for those of you who stayed for this whole video, I really greatly appreciate you guys. For those of you that had to get off and you're going to pick it up and finish watching later, I still greatly appreciate you guys. We're timeless beings. We really are. The body has a time limit on it, but the energy that is us is timeless. So you guys watching this in the future and giving me your love, I feel it right now. That's how these things work. We exist on multiple planes of existence. So those of you who are watching this, the date of this is April the 26th. Those of you that are watching this May, June, July, whatever, and sending me love, I feel it right now. So thank you so much. And I love you guys. If you haven't done so already on your way out, please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel and you like being entertained, educated, informed, uplifted, inspired, hit that subscribe button and make sure you have your notification bell turned to all so you'll be notified when I drop new content. And last but not least, I'll end this one like I end them all, family. Tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You have to show it. Love is a verb. It's a noun as well. But when you focus on the verb, the noun always takes care of itself. I love you guys. Peace.